everybody, and welcome. Tonight is another episode of Shades of Scarlet. We are Saves vs. Death, and this is our Cyberpunk Red tabletop and actual play and podcast. And this particular campaign airs every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Saves vs. Death. We've got a few other ones, too, to look out for. We've got Indie Bandits, which is on Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, so definitely check that out. I am Blank, the Game Master Referee, and Kwame with me. What?
Kwame.
And Kwame. Oh, with me today is Jess as Moxie 11, as Wheeler, Hades as Deeps, as G. This reference is like, I don't get it. Anyway, Games as Wraith, as Linka, Ada as Checkers, as Mati, and together, god damn it. And together we are Captain Planet. I do want to know.
Sorry, I was just so proud of that one.
And we are going to announce another stream that will be coming soon. We're happy to announce that RNG D&D will finally be aired live very soon. Thursday the 28th will be our first episode. For those of you who don't know, RNG D&D is a series where Games and I, along with our special guest Giffy, will be playing a GM-less versions of Dungeons and Dragons. Our character backgrounds were randomly generated, and we will also be randomly generating the story as we go along, using a little bit of logic to make things cohesive. But join us on a randomized and potentially incredibly lethal, if you are familiar with the old school Dungeons and Dragons at all, game. Join us.
So we've been trying this out before we decided to take it live
for a while,
and we are like 6 or 7 episodes in. I think we got TPK'd at least once.
And it would have been more if we didn't.
We're nice guys.
Some things. Yeah. It was our demo. Give us a break.
We've worked out all of the kinks. It should be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure we worked out all the kinks.
But hey, if you like us and would like to see us continue to get better, there are ways that you can help support us. Here on Twitch, you can always sub to us. It is still September, so get those subs in. Also, you can buy bits. Those are helpful too. If you don't have money but still would like to sub to us, there is an option for you. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link your Amazon Prime with your Twitch account. Once they become best friends, then you get a free subscription every month that you could spend on us. It doesn't cost you anything, and it renews every month, so you do have to reallocate it, but it's free for you and helps us out. We also have a Patreon, and on the Patreon, you can see the early RNG content that we did. You can see the Moxie files. You get early access to our one-shots that we do. All kinds of fun stuff, actually.
We take a tour of Against the Dark Master in one of those RNG D&D episodes as well, which is a really cool system. Very MERPS-like, if you're at all familiar. Basically, it just uses a D100, like a percentile roll. Pretty cool.
It was
system.
Rad. It just wouldn't work out in the long run for
what we're doing, but it's a good system.
Check it out for sure. Also on there, you can find the character building for every character that has ever been on the show as far as PCs go. Though any of the core cast, so really at this point, just me and Moxie, we were built under the old quick start. So take everything with a grain of salt, because it still says I have cat eyes.
I was told mine was pretty solid.
Yeah, I bet yours is still pretty accurate.
Like keeping hers as close as I could. Yeah.
Right. But
mine
yeah.
disappeared, so.
Oh no. But yeah, check that out. You can always, go to Patreon and give us a follow on there and get access to stuff. There are other ways you can help us, and Hades will happily tell you about those.
Yes, for sure. I have to do this happily because you said so, but We have a merch store, and if you want to grab
Happier
the latest,
with a smile.
sorry, okay, give me a second. Guess what, guys? We have.
That's
a merch
great. That's
store.
great. But happier with a bigger smile. Just smile.
I can't do it.
That's fine.
If you want to grab the latest in SVD merch, head over to savesversusdeath.redbubble.com. We will be adding some new merch here soon. I'm working on it. And right now we have 6 designs to choose from. If there's an image you would like, hit explore, add the design of the item to your cart. It could be a hat or whatever you want. It'd be a hat, mug, hoodie, lots of other options. The profits go directly from the merch store back to the show, and we would love to do that because we want to get some. We need some new equipment, and we would love to get more content to your ear holes.
Yeah. Also, one of the new designs that was suggested to us is the sidecar one, which I really want a phone case of that because I can and I'm going to. On a similar but different note, instead of just helping us, you can help other people too. If you caught our Jackbox stream, you would know that we are doing a charity this whole week. We are trying to raise money for the American Society Against Suicide Awareness. I messed that up somewhere.
American Foundation for Suicide
Foundation,
Prevention.
not society, because that would be too many
You're
S's.
close.
Do we have a link for that?
I have a link to donate.
Yeah, could you put the link in the
Yeah,
chat? Thanks.
absolutely.
That was our charity stream where we were trying to raise money, but you know what? We kept it open all week. That was the plan initially. So this show and also our Indie Bandit show will still be part of it. So if you want to donate, that would be awesome because it goes to a good cause. Whenever we pick a charity, we do research into it, make sure that it's a charity that we believe in. So this, like every other time, is something we believe in, and we value any help that you can give them. So yeah, thank you.
Also, all donations go towards more time to have an additional Jackbox game stream. So if you really enjoyed it, please donate.
Then you'll make us do another one, which was awesome.
It was awesome. I want to welcome a couple new people to the SVD family. First is Math Lion 8, which, I mean, you have to be a lion to do math. Math is special. And
Like a sea lion, but with math.
Pineapples are cool 1. Yes, they are 100%. So welcome both of you to our crew. We'd love to have you here. And just a reminder that Shades of Scarlet has a very mature theme, and pass it off to Ada. Tell you all about that.
Yeah, so this is a dark game, and so while we do goofy stuff, we also do some pretty creepy stuff on occasion. We have our own methods for our boundaries and know them and how to deal with them, but we can't do that for everybody. So if you ever get uncomfortable listening to us, please step away for 15 minutes and take care of yourself. It's important to us. And now Blank will give us the last time on
Shades of Scarlet. Wraith has a moment of glory on stage during his tour of the West Coast. After a stunning performance, his band and groupies pack up into the bus and begin making their long way home. However, on the way, they get confronted by a gang of nomads, ironically called the Wraiths. The old rock star makes his way out of the bus like a badass to confront them and finds out that they want the bus. After some tense negotiation, Wraith pays them off along with an offering of a really fancy katana, I believe the one gifted to him by Rex, and promises of future meetups. They take that offer and head back on their way. Meanwhile, Geek Squad goes to negotiate prices for home defense systems with Rex, but Moxie and Cammy stay back in the apartment to talk to Kaze, who reveals that the Jackals, as she calls them, were angry about their murder of Dracul at first, but that emotion fades over time. And they only started plans to nab Moxie after Streamline paid them a visit and told them that she's become a problem. In exchange for something in the past that they had done for Streamline, the Jackals agree and formulate a plan. And I think that about sums us up. So with that, let us begin our episode. I believe we were still trying to get some downtime activities out of the way and catch up timelines here. So why don't we go ahead and start with downtime? Is there anybody who would like to go first?
Yes.
Yeah, I was on my way to see Rex.
You were on your way to see Rex. Hey.
Was it
They-
about a special katana?
I have no idea. He said he wanted to talk to me.
Oh.
Games, you said you wanted to go as well. What did you have in mind?
I just have 2 different therapies to do this week.
Oh, okay. We'll go ahead.
All.
We'll go ahead and get Rex out of the way. So, where are you going to see Rex? His apartment?
Yeah, he said he was at his apartment.
All right. So you make your way up to his apartment. Knock on the door.
Yeah, she gives her customary 3 knocks.
She gives 3 reps upon the door. There's a little bit of a delay before the door slowly comes open, and I'm gonna get some music out here because I always forget anyway. I'm gonna shuffle this up. And eventually the door opens to where you see Rex in his signature leopard print vest. He's not wearing an undershirt today, but he's got some like baggy gray sweatpants. And he looks you over for a moment. Moxie.
Hey, you want to talk?
Yeah. Why don't you come inside?
She enters. I will say Moxie's wearing her yellow cargo pants, so they're white with that purple graphic print on them. She's also wearing a bright orange hoodie with brown kind of towards the end of the sleeves. There's little ears on the hood. It has a foxtail in the back. Except the female one was fitted and tight. She bought a male one so it would be comfortable, and an extra large, so it is very baggy on her.
Nice.
It goes well past her fingertips. She's pretty much covered almost like head to toe in clothing.
All right. Tequila? He asks as you come in.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
All right. Kind of walks with you down to the little sofa area, sat around a small coffee table towards the center of the room. You know, you can still hear the commotion going on from the street outside through the giant like double pane windows that he's got that kind of overviews the corner of the nook.
Is there anybody standing on the windows are open? There's no blinds or curtains, correct?
They're not open. They're big, solid pieces.
Sorry. There's no like blinds or whatever closing the view from outside?
You can close
Shades
them.
or shutters?
There are
they-
shades, but they are open.
That's what I meant. The shades open, not the
The
windows.
the shades are open to allow in natural light. Yes.
Can she just do a scan for the roofs across the street to see if anyone's watching?
Oh, sure. Go ahead and roll a perception test for me.
You know, had I started with that probably would have made my question make way more sense.
Yes.
And I apologize.
All good.
19.
19's not bad. You take a gander outside, looking around the streets. People seem to be occupied in their own daily lives, just walking, going into the various different types of businesses, around on the street. And from the other from the other apartments that you can kind of see that lie across from the nook, not where your apartments are, though you can see those as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some windows are open, somebody's staring outside, just smoking a cigarette. There's a couple arguing in one window. some guy's dancing in his boxers around his house in another. And he's got what appears to be a taxidermied cat that he is also dancing with. But other than that, nothing in particular sticks out to you.
Nothing on the roofs. No one.
No, I mean
No flash of a scope. Just double checking.
no flash of a scope. No, yeah, nothing like that.
Or
No.
binoculars or something. A drone. Yeah, I just
No.
slightly paranoid. Okay.
I mean, there are drones. Sure, there's always drones flying about, delivering messages, doing their thing. Especially in this area.
But nothing that's like pausing and taking photos. Like
Yeah, you
last
don't.
time.
You don't see the kind of tabloid drone that you saw before.
She'll stand near the edge of the couch unless prompted to sit.
As you're looking outside through the window, I assume you walked over to it to get a better look.
Sure. Yeah, if she would have scanned the roofs first. If there's nobody on the roof, then she would have approached the window.
You definitely need to get close to the window to be able to look at the roof. So, while you're standing there, Rex comes up behind you, and he kind of like gently puts his hand on the kind of backside of your arm, and says, "You all right?"
Do you want the real answer or the "I'll be fine"?
I think you know what kind of answer I'd prefer, but
Then I'll
for
be fine.
posterity's sake, I want the real answer.
You always tell me you don't want to know.
Stamadoo.
Haven't slept well. Keep having nightmares. Don't
Yeah.
have answers that everyone seems to want. Got in a fight with my crew. You know. Great.
Nightmares.
She'll
these-
lean against him unless he steps away.
No, he doesn't. He, gently puts his arms around your waist and holds them at the small of, collapses his hands at the small of your back, and says, "These nightmares. They're about what you went through, at the nightclub.
Some of them.
What are the other ones about?"
Sometimes it's mixed with what I've seen Jenny go through. What emails I've read, what they've done to people. Sometimes it's me going psychotic and ripping into friends.
How do you feel about coming after you?
That doesn't bother me. I'm gonna go after them and they're gonna come after me. They're just blood and bone machine. You can put that down. Me turning into a monster, that I don't know that I can stop that.
Yeah. I mean, cyberpsychosis is on the rise, they say. But when is that never the case? I really have a lot of good advice for that, I'm afraid. Apologize.
No, it's alright. I don't need advice.
That's good. Because I don't know shit. Just want to make sure. I mean, those fuckers are, they're after you. Just, what can I do to help?
You know, this whole straddling the line, only knowing bits and pieces of information is really confusing. It's all interconnected, so either you learn everything or you stay out of it.
What does
Are you
everyone
sure that's
else
what you
know?
want? Less than they will next time we talk. More than you.
I figured that. I wanted to bring you over here and yell at you. Dragging me into this shit.
Well, now you're voluntarily jumping in.
Got a soft spot for you.
That could be a problem.
Thought about that a lot too.
You know, I was half expecting you to kick me out.
Of the Nook?
Mm-hmm.
That's not something I actually considered, Moxie.
Would have been a smart decision.
Yeah, I'm a pretty dumb guy.
No, you're not.
Fair enough.
But I wouldn't have taken it personally. I mean, I know it wouldn't have been personally.
No, it would have been business, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the thought never occurred to me. I know their business is fucked up. And I've never been in the XPD market myself. But I've never really tried to shut any down before. Not till that night. And seeing what they put you and Wraith through. Perhaps that's why I've been getting more involved, perhaps. Seen some pretty shitty things happen to people. Almost happened to Cammy once. Did you know that?
That's before I met her?
Yeah. Long before. Back when I met her.
She told me briefly that you stood up against the Valentinos for her once.
Yeah, that's the time.
She didn't say more than that.
That's the time.
Why'd you do it?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She was young. She's like... I don't know. She was so young. Skinny thing. And it's never really been my cup of tea. I have a mom, and I care about her a lot.
Yeah, I know that.
And, she just looks so scared. So yeah, I stood up for her. Nothing special, nothing more than that. But didn't make any friends with the gang.
Is that why you left?
I like to say I left for my pride, but I didn't leave. But yeah, that's what happened. Worked out for me. Fortunately.
Yeah, definitely better off.
Anyway, I don't know what it is about that kind of shit, but it just really gets to my blood. I think it does for most people. I hope.
Except for the people that were there watching.
I said most, not everybody. So, yeah,
So you're in for this.
no, that's the thing. I'm in for you. If you want it.
Oh, that's a confusing answer. Yes and no.
I don't have any, like, stipulation, Moxie. There's no,
I do.
what?
If you want to be with me, you want to do this for me, you have to know exactly what you're walking into.
Okay.
This isn't the first group I'm going to go after. And the others are arguably more dangerous.
What am I getting into?
An XBD gang and 2 or 3 corporations,
What?
as well as a trip to combat zone.
Okay. Somehow
We'll
I
take
think
out
we...
Newsat,
Okay.
who destroyed Shady Acres. They may or may not be linked to the Campbell family who runs Continental Brands.
In this area, right? Not... That's Olivia Forsyth.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got that corporate suit that I need to do work for, or if I'm blackmail on, get him off my ass. And I'm pretty sure it was a corp that took out my pack, so 2 or 3 corporations and the XBD gang.
And that's all linked?
I don't know. Actually, it might be.
It's a lot of heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you're living in my apartment, so I really can't have a tenant with that kind of baggage. So yeah, I guess I will help.
Still think the smarter place to kick me out.
I told you I'm pretty dumb.
I'm very lucky then.
You are.
She's gonna wrap her arms around his back and pull herself close to him.
Okay. He holds you pretty tight as well. I'm glad you're okay. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
at least physically.
Yeah, well, the rest will come. Just need time.
Sure. Take all the time you need. I'm here. So what's the plan then? You got one?
When I come up with one, I'll let you know. I'll let everyone know. I do actually have a question though.
What?
When you made your deal with Ajax the first time, where were you? Who was around?
Where was I?
Was
Like
on your agent?
specifically? Yeah, it was
like
on my
specifically.
agent.
Were you in your office? Were you in the hovel?
I was
you here?
probably in the office down in at Frank's. Probably. Either that or here. I can't remember exactly.
You still have a bug detector, right?
Yeah, I've got an implant.
Want to try something? She's gonna turn on the microphone on her thumb.
Okay.
Did your detector just go off?
Let me double check how this works.
That's a great question. I'm sorry she warned you about that.
Way to be a jerk.
I know. Also, you were fully right about bigger picture.
I apologize. Do you want me to be less animated? You're in the middle of like a really good deep scene, and I shouldn't have been messing with you, but
I caught it in the corner of my eye. It was good.
Great role playing, guys. That was awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We were specifically looking for whether bug detectors pick up listening, or if a recording device counts as a listening device.
Oh,
Yeah. What?
I think it
Don't-
has to broadcast to be a listening device.
I think so too, which is why she's double checking.
I would say tap, bug, or other listening device.
It is a listening device. No,
I'd say it. Yeah, I'd say it is a listening device. So, yeah, I guess he looks down at your phone and then at you. I mean, we can record if you want.
Turns off the microphone in her thumb.
Okay.
No, I was actually hoping that didn't pick up microphones.
Why?
Ajax said he made the deal with you.
Yeah.
Then he got a call from Charles, who's the fucker in the red suit we met,
Right.
saying it needed to be expedited and he needed to change it, which means at some point after your conversation, they knew that deal was going down. Now, of the two of you, I'm guessing they have eyes and ears on you. So I was hoping there was maybe, I don't know, a video camera or tape recorder or something in your office. But if you can pick that up, probably not. Which means I still don't know how
Maybe-
they found out.
Maybe they're just tapping into all my deals.
Maybe they weren't certain I was going to be there. But how are they tapping in without you knowing?
I mean, I've done deals with Ajax in the past. I wouldn't say it's any secret that we've done business.
And you gave your name at the lantern, so they know to watch you.
Yeah, I did. And I believe that guy in the red suit who was right there when I said it. At least pretty close by.
Okay, so they're watching you, but how'd they find out? It's not like you met face to face with Ajax.
No.
They get a contact book of all the people you make deals with? Little black book.
I mean, they could. I suppose, if they hacked either my agent or my computer down at Frank's. Which case they know where you're at, probably, I would think. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
tacking on the home turf isn't what they want to do.
They might not want to get involved with Tiger Claw.
That's true.
Can Kami or Deeps figure out if they've been in your system?
Can try. I would think. I don't know much about that shit, but
Neither do I. You know what? I'll ask them.
I've had Cammy see oh my god, I can't talk. I've had Cammy do some sweeps of my system a few times before. So, yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. I'll send her over. Maybe that's how they figured it out.
Maybe. Yeah, I
Plan
really
is
don't
to
know.
wait. The plan's to wait for Wraith to come back,
Okay.
since we found out Streamline's involved. So I think he's due back for another couple weeks at least.
All right. I think that's fair. Just let me know what you need me to do.
We have our next session. I'll give you a call.
All right. That is if Wraith will work with me.
I thought you two don't start this shit again. I thought you two fix that.
I mean, we said words. Who knows if it's stuck or not?
You worked together on the last mission.
Yeah.
You haven't fought between then and now?
I don't understand what Wraith even doesn't like, really. So, I don't know. That man is a wild card.
Yes.
So, somehow I feel like this whole shit that you got me into is going to be put on me.
I don't know that. I mean, guilty by association. I didn't drag you into it. I would have kept you away if I could have.
I'm not trying to make you feel guilty or anything, but I'm just saying it.
Don't feel guilty. And he might. I don't know. See when he gets back.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But if it comes down to it, take his help. I can sit
And
out.
yours from 500 meters away?
If it's just between you and me, I don't see a problem with that.
Noted. Right, last thing before I head out. Are you aware Tiger Claw's moving into the arcade?
Yeah, I heard they were dealing with something up there. Yeah. Why?
You're fine with that.
I really don't got much say anymore, Moxie.
They haven't. You said that they asked you to do some things you weren't keen on.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that could be linked to this.
To that?
Not the arcade.
Well, kind of. I mean, I kind of knew they were setting up over there because they asked me to clear out the homeless.
Did you know we wanted the building?
No.
I didn't think so. Anything else?
Extortion.
Not for the Nook.
No, they keep most of their business outside the Nook, except for that. And technically that is outside.
Well, if there's any other jobs that come up for the arcade, maybe let us know.
I will, I'll keep you posted.
Thanks.
But, I don't think they're gonna need me for that anymore.
If you hear anything.
Sure. Sure.
She's gonna go up on her toes and give him a soft kiss.
Okay. He kisses you back. Says, those folks you rescued, they okay? I think
The two extra ones don't remember anything. They're missing a day, but that's it. Sent them on their way. Kaze's not doing great.
she was with them for a while, huh?
Started off just bartending there. One of Cass's exes. She gave us information on Jenny, some other things, and then the night I got drugged, she was carrying her Fred's head on a plate and didn't recognize me.
Damn.
And I don't know how long between my first chat with her and then they took her in.
How'd they do that?
Do what?
I don't know. Make her forget her own friend.
Same
Forget
thing
you.
they did with all those other people. Some chip that programs them to do what they want and only what they want. At least I think she doesn't remember it, which is fortunate. So she has periods where she just blacked out.
Damn. So, I don't know. No, I've never heard of tech like that. I mean, maybe similar things, but
Yeah, similar but not completely overriding.
right.
Steve's mentioned wanting to look into it, but he's still pretty fucked up from the ordeal at this station.
Yeah, I think y'all should rest up before you try anything crazy.
Couple weeks, at least, is the plan.
Try to stick to that.
We'll do our best, I'm sure.
I'm still got the bandage around his arm. I'm still in the mend too.
Wow, that looks grievous.
No, what am I gonna do?
She rolls her eyes and moves back.
Okay. He lets you go, but he holds onto your hand until the very last moment where you break apart.
She'll give it a squeeze before she lets go.
Okay.
Well, rest up. Try not to lose the arm, and I'll see you later.
See you later.
She'll head back.
Okay, you head out. Who's up next?
You guys missed a hydrate, by the way.
I don't have
Thank
any
you for
water.
the reminder.
I forgot my water. I'll do it after intermission. I promise, because I'll need it.
I was like, I need that so badly. Thank you.
Okay, so who's up? Who's up next?
I thought Wraith had some stuff that they wanted to do.
I've just got my therapies. That's all.
Okay, so that'll take a week. Which therapy are you going to?
Well, the pawns should just take a day, right?
The what?
The physical therapy with pawns.
Oh yeah, a few hours actually.
Okay, I'm gonna do that first,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna go to my drug and addiction counseling center of choice.
Which one?
The one that Veronica worked at,
Okay.
and check myself in.
You head over to Single Star. After, working with pawns, he says, you really should take it easy on yourself. Try and fuck yourself up all the time.
I'm trying, man.
I know you were gonna go on this thing, but I figured you'd at least try to. I don't know.
Was calm the entire time. I didn't do anything crazy.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure. That's why you look so spun on junk.
Well, all right. So I was peer pressured into doing some drugs, but I'm going to go get that taken care of. We'll be fine.
Yeah, please do. Please
Yeah.
do. You dumbass.
You're not wrong.
So you head over to Single Star, and when you arrive at the podunk little building on the corner of what used to be a corporate park, but has been definitely run down in years of misuse and lack of use and lack of maintenance. But you walk into the clinic where there's somebody at the reception. It looks like Veronica is standing right there, going over a clipboard with some.
I give her a wave.
When she looks up and sees you, there's a mixture of excitement to disappointment in her eye.
I try not to show that this has hurt me.
She gives a wan smile before looking down at her clipboard again. I'll be right back, she tells the receptionist, who nods back at her. And then looks at you and gives a big smile. Hi, how can I help you today?
Hey, so I'm a former client and I've had a minor relapse. And I feel like some therapy may do me some good.
I understand. I'm glad that you came back. I hope things get better. They look at the computer, start typing a little bit. Okay, I can fit you in. However, we only have group therapy sessions available. Is that going to be okay for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
This is addiction therapy?
Yeah.
Understood.
Pretty much the same as last time.
The same as last time.
Yeah.
So
if
that's,
you look it up.
they look up at the thing. Is blue glass?
No, that was the time before. The last time I was here was,
I'm sorry. I got the dates
was about
backwards.
Smash. Yeah.
Smash, right.
Smash and Synth Coke this time.
Smash and Synth Coke. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do our best to see to your needs.
I need you to know I am trying to change.
I know you are. I'm not blaming you. It's okay.
Now he shows the defeat on his face that he felt earlier.
This person is not a therapist, but they're definitely trying to, be as sympathetic towards you. But when you get that look on your face, they kind of just give you the best smile that they can offer and kind of shut up at that point and go about typing on the computer.
Yeah.
All right, we'll need to check in your things. As you know, we like to take your personal effects just so you can focus on the healing.
Sure.
They reach behind the counter and pull out a little, basically gray sweatshirt and sweatpants. Put it on the table. You know where the changing rooms are. Just head back there and then bring out your personal effects after you're done.
I go do that.
Okay.
I have no agent or weapon on me this time, so that's nice.
That is nice.
Forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking for the therapy rules and I forgot where they are.
Ooh,
Is that in Trauma Team? I think so.
Yeah.
It is in Trauma Team, which is also where the healing stuff is.
Right. I think that's after net running. Yes.
Yeah, I had the page number written down somewhere.
And they're like, so addiction therapy for 1 week of therapy is 500 eddies. Would you like to pay with cash or a chip?
Just go ahead and take it out of the 7,000 cash that is in my effects.
I'm not going to go through your things. So she holds out her pants to you, or your pants to you.
Yeah. I take the wallet out. I hand her 500 eddies.
Okay.
That's one thick wallet.
They put your personal effects in kind of like a little rectangular cubby in the back and lock it up. And they say the passcode is, and they tell you the passcode.
60652.
Just so you don't think we're stealing, but be sure to mark the cost. Oh, I'm sorry. It is 1,000 eddies. Apologies.
I give them the other 500.
I was looking at it if you do it yourself, which you cannot do.
No, but I can do it for other people.
Yeah. So you pay the 1,000 and are admitted into the place. It's almost like a little mini resort. You're fed the maybe one of the cheapest brands of kibble. Some weird flavor like roasted tomatoes or something.
They don't have miasma crunch.
No.
They for breakfast. Which you are admitted to do in the tiny cafeteria. Eventually your group therapy session is called for the day, and you're led to one of the back rooms. Like they have little office rooms. It's a dingy place with kind of windows so thick with grime and smog and dirt that you can barely see out of them, and it barely lets light in. The light above would normally be on, but it's actually shut off because it's on the fritz. But you're admitted to a room with several different people in it. The main person who is wearing a doctor's long coat with a name tag on them that's, says their name very clearly. It's Dr. Charity Verity. And she's a tall, slender woman with long black and brown black hair and brown eyes. She has a very kind and gentle face, but there's also a certain strength and determination in her eyes. She has a pair of glasses, and on her wrist, when she's like jotting down some notes, you can see a small tattoo of a semicolon on her wrist, just where the thumb meets the wrist on the top side. Very few cybernetic implants, but there is a chip jack on the base of her skull, and you can tell that occasionally her eyes glow with that retinal implant of some Chiron display accessing information or whatever from her agent, probably. She's just sitting there in one of the seats that are sat in a little circle, where the other three other people and an empty chair for you is set up. There's a guy there with short black hair. He has some square framed glasses. He's wearing, the same garb that you are, with the gray sweatshirt, though his has a hood which he has pulled up over his head and has it drawn pretty tight.
I'm gonna make my tech hair match the color of gray.
Okay.
Of the sweatshirt.
Okay. He has his sleeves pulled up, and you can see a tattoo of a circuit board drawn up over his forearm. There's another. The other two are female, and one of them has long blonde hair, and her face, body, are covered with various scars. She only has one arm, and what little skin she does show is loose and frayed. Aging her at least 40 years. She looks like she's pushing 60 or 70, and not a good 60 or 70. Looks very tough and independent. The other one is a short... I'm sorry. She has short brown hair, and she was allowed to keep her boots, it appears. So she has a pair of just really heavy work boots. Has a very tired look about her, like there's deep bags underneath her eyes, and she definitely looks like she's come from a place with a lot of pain and suffering in her life. Looking around, there is one seat open available to you, and the doctor, Dr. Verity, looks at you with a soft smile and says, "Oh, hello, Wraith. Your name is Wraith, right?"
You can call me Brandon, but yeah.
Brandon. Why don't you have a seat, Brandon?
Can I get some of the terrible lukewarm coffee before I sit down, or?
Oh
Am I
yeah,
holding up
please do.
Thanks. He goes and gets a little paper cup of.
It is pretty
coffee.
terrible, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
I've been trying to convince them for a long time to, upgrade to a little bit of a better brand, but
Something
we
that tastes
get
more
what we
like
can.
coffee.
Yeah, rather than mud. I agree.
But thank you. I am grateful for the coffee.
No problem. So to start, I'd like to go around and let's introduce ourselves. For instance, I'm Dr. Charity Verity. You can just call me Dr. Verity, or I accept Charity as well if you'd like. And then she looks to the guy that's there, and he looks quite nervous. And when she gestures to him, he shoots a glance behind him really quick before looking back and says, I'm Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hi. Pleasure to meet you, Alex. And then you? I'm Gina.
Hi, Gina.
Hi. And why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Brandon Johnson. I'm a performer some of you may have seen.
They all say in unison, "Hi, Brandon."
I'm glad to be here with you guys, and I look forward to recovery.
Excellent. And then lastly, but not least, the girl says, "I'm Sarah."
Hi, Sarah.
At that point, Dr. Verity starts to go on into kind of a dialogue about how she's glad that you guys could all be here, and it takes a lot of balls to actually admit to yourself that there is some sort of issue, and she's immediately proud of you all. She goes over kind of topics that you'll be going over. You're going to start with kind of telling each other your stories so we can get to know you, like why you're here, and what you perhaps did in your previous life, a little bit of that. And then you're going to be going on to talking about the science behind your addiction, like how the brain works and in getting addicted to substances. Followed after that by, despite that, you got to take responsibility. It's always been your choice to take the drug or not to take the choice. Nobody else's choice. And then after that, you get into a little bit about, even though it was your choice, that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you shitty. You got to learn to forgive yourself for making those mistakes. You'll also be focusing on how your addiction started. Communication skills is going to be key, and it's okay if you don't really have them at this time. That's what we're going to be learning here. We'll also learn how to become strong, make connections among your peers and people on the outside world, and how to manage the stress. This isn't going to be an easy path, she admits to you straight up. It's going to be incredibly rough. And she goes on to say, so, as you all know, I'm the doctor here, Dr. Charity Verity. I went to Night City University for both my undergrad and my master's, and then I went on to a doctorate at SoCal. So I have roughly 10 years, I guess, of experience in this particular field. I've been doing this quite a while. But despite all that, I have also struggled with addiction. That's what makes me so passionate about doing this. In my second year of college, I started taking drugs. I was struggling with depression and anxiety, and I thought that the drugs would help me cope. Boy, was I wrong. At first they did, though. They made me feel happy and content. I could focus on my studies and make friends. But then I started to need them more and more and more. I couldn't function without them. Started skipping classes, withdrawing from friends, hooking up with the wrong people. I lost my scholarship, and I had to drop out of school. From there, my addiction started getting worse and worse. I started stealing money from my parents and my friends to buy more. I was living on the streets, homeless and alone, and I got to thinking that I would never get better. One day, I woke up in a hospital. I'd overdosed. Doctors told me I was pretty lucky to be alive. I knew that I had to change at that point. So I went to rehab and I started working on my recovery. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Now I'm a therapist and I help people who are struggling with addiction. So believe me when I tell you, I know what it's like to get addicted. I know the pain and suffering, but I also know that recovery is possible. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can. My story isn't over yet. I still struggle with addiction every day. Sometimes when certain clients occasionally rebound, I'm tempted to join them. I have to make that decision every time. But I'm not giving up. I'm determined to stay clean and sober, and I am determined to help others do the same. I just want you to know that no matter what, you're not alone. There is help available, and you can get better. Okay. Thank you. She looks over to you. To you, Wraith. Do you mind giving us a little intro to yourself and telling us a little bit about your story? You don't have to share all the details just yet, but
No, it's good. I'm not afraid to tell you guys. This isn't my first time in therapy. And you're right when you talked about addiction as an everyday choice, because it's like you're driving to work, right? And you can make the left into the parking lot of your work or the right into your drug dealer's house. And every day you have to make the choice of which one you're going to take. I can tell you about who I am, where I've been. I can tell you about how, I lost my parents at a young age and grew up on the streets, and I started doing drugs fairly young. It was kind of a rite of passage, the better drug you can afford, the more fucked up you can get, it showed like that you were really accomplishing something as a person, you know. And then at some point it became more about the drugs, you know, like you don't feel normal without the drugs. So I mean, I went through all that. This is my third time in therapy for addiction counseling. And I in the last few months I've lost 8 or 9 people probably, in various ways. That's Night City though. And I was
Gina nods quite a bit at that.
Yeah, I was doing good. I was walking the straight and narrow. I was, you know, trying to go the path you went and do the counseling thing and help others and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I mentioned that I do music. Yeah, I went out on the road, and it isn't that I fell into the same old, you know, the like, well, because I'm here, I have to do drugs. It was that I was trying to protect my image. And I know that, like you said, every time we do it, we choose to do it. It's not like somebody else made us do it, but I have to protect that concept of who I am. And so I made poor decisions, and I started using again. And it led to a confrontation that I was not equipped for. And I put myself in a bad situation. I'd like to move on and grow as a person. I'd like to take this process very seriously. And I feel like the way to do that is to try to let myself grow instead of being stuck in who I was. I don't know if I said anything. I said a lot of nothing for a long time. I hope.
No, that's exactly what we were
helps you
looking for. Thank you. That was really insightful. Thank you. Gina, why don't you tell us next about your story? Gina, in her kind of ragged voice, talks about how she was once a member of Maelstrom. A few years ago, she got out, but she was still struggling with addiction to cybernetics. She was addicted to getting chipped. They helped her stay strong and fast in combat, but they also made her reckless and violent. She's been clean for a few months, but it's still been hard for her. She still has cravings of getting chipped all the time. Still to this day, she looks over her shoulder, afraid that Maelstrom's going to come in after her, for getting away, try to reclaim the goods. One day, she was walking down the street. That did affirmed her fears. She was being followed by a group of Maelstrom members, who recognized her and followed her. She started running, but they caught up, and nearly zeroed her. Just beat the ever-living shit out of her. And at some point, she went unconscious. And when she came to, that she had found that they'd stripped all of the cybernetics out of her body. She woke up. She was missing her arm, had pain coursing throughout her entire body. She was in some dumpster outside of a Scanity up in Watson. She physically had to drag herself out of the dumpster and onto the street, or to the street. And then somebody found her who she never learned their name. She woke up in the hospital. She'd been in a coma for 2 weeks. Like Charity, she was lucky to be alive. She's still recovering from those injuries. She just yours to her missing arm. Both physical and mental. And she's scared to go back out into the world in case they find her again, but she doesn't want Maelstrom to win. So that's why she's here. You learn the stories of the other two as well, and I feel like I've been talking for a long time about this, so I'm going to give some brief cliff notes here. But you learn that Alex used to work for Raven Microsib, and he would use this drug called Boost to get himself, mentally ready for the job, just as sharp as possible. Until one day he had misplaced his boost, and that caused him to head to work groggy and not as sharp as normal, where he made a mistake that cost Raven a lot of money. He got fired at that point. He was broke, homeless. He didn't have any money, and he was still very addicted. So he came here, but he still feels like his life is over. And he doesn't know how he's going to get out of that mess. Sarah's story's a little bit different. She is a nomad. She grew up in the wastelands with a pack, trying to survive. She got addicted to Smash over the years. It was the only way for her to cope with harsh realities of the wastelands. But she knows that addiction is destroying her because it makes her sick every morning when she wakes up, and it's making her weak. And she knew that she needed to get some help and didn't really know where to turn. So she came to Night City and found Single Star. She is probably the most hopeful story of the group. She's not coming from a place that she doesn't feel that she can conquer her fears. But she has a hard time talking about being addicted to Smash in general. She almost, at some point the therapy session continues on a little bit longer after this, where she kind of reveals that she feels like her addiction is the least important out of all of you, and Verity clears that up right away, and so does the rest of the group, you yourself included, I assume.
Yeah, for sure.
Verity at some point during the course of this week talks about addressing how you said who you are, how the drugs are who you are, is kind of the unsaid kind of explanation you gave in your story. You're trying to portray to everybody that you're the wild, carefree party boy, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be who you are. In fact, these are very separate entities. You can still be carefree and not put yourself in a position where you're going to relapse. Or you can still portray that you're carefree.
Right. And that's kind of the balance I'm trying to learn to walk by being here.
Yep. As far as putting yourself in bad situations, which is another thing you said, I think it's best to come up with strategies on how to not put yourself in those situations. That would probably be the easiest way to address your problems. She doesn't want to consider anything that's uncomfortable for you, but perhaps a change in life path might be the right choice. If you have any other skills or interests, even hobbies, perhaps it's time to start considering those more seriously. But again, she doesn't want to suggest anything uncomfortable for you. but she does know many other musicians who have kind of fallen down a similar path, and that path does tend to lead back to relapse very often.
Right.
She's not saying this to be mean, but she's just being real with you. Anyway, the sessions continue throughout the week, where you learn those pillars that I kind of explained at the beginning. Just about, finding personal strength, knowing that it is your fault. It can't be anybody else's fault, but it's okay. You can forgive yourself for that. It's not who you are. And she teaches you some strategies for how to, find strength within yourself. And at the end of the week-long therapy, she wishes you all the best, gives you a number that you can contact her on if you are in trouble. She definitely recommends that you guys, talk amongst yourselves. She's not going to suggest that you give any personal information to each other or anything, but if you wanted to, you could share numbers if you felt comfortable with that. You've definitely grown to know these other people. Alex is like a paranoid mess. And Gina, though she does seem like she should be paranoid, at least that's what her story described, she's definitely like way more bold and tough. But anyway,
I'm gonna share contact information with them.
Okay.
Let them know.
You can write them on your
I can
contacts if you'd like.
Yeah.
I can share your the names with the of them later with you if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll write it later because that screen's really bright.
All good. So yeah, you leave Single Star during that time. You see some of Veronica during your time there, but nothing but kind of superficial conversation. Just good to see you. How are you doing? And it doesn't go any deeper than that.
Yeah, I keep it at that level.
You're not necessarily given a sponsor this time, but you could request one if you'd like.
Nope.
Okay. So you head out, feeling refreshed after a kind of rough detox session or two. And you're no longer, at least physically, addicted to the narcotics.
Yay!
Yay!
Woohoo!
The only other thing I need to get done this week is I need to buy an agent so that I can call them and let them know I'm back.
Okay.
But you can deal with that.
Oh yeah, your
Yeah,
agent's
this
still
is
Did you
gone.
just trade contact information with
I give them my agent number, so I need
Oh,
to
right,
get a new
right.
agent and have the same number. Yeah.
Right.
Let's move on to. Well, let's go with Deeps. Deeps, what are you doing for the week?
For this week,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to take me 5 days to heal.
Okay.
Calculated it out.
Okay, so
I
5
can't-
days.
I can't afford speed heal. So I would like
Okay.
to spend the other 2 days. One day I would like to fix Moxie's jacket. And then the other day I would like to work on the chip.
Okay, so go ahead and make the roll for the jacket.
Okay. And that is just basic tech,
Okay.
I believe. Uh, 18.
Okay, 18, and what's the cost of the jacket?
100 eddies.
eddies. So that cost 10 eddies to repair.
Okay.
Does it if he has all the parts?
Oh yeah,
do
I
you
got her
already
other
have the
jacket.
parts?
Yeah,
got-
because she gave him her other crap jacket to use as the parts to fix the less crap jacket.
Okay.
Like
I will
in
say
Fallout.
that works, but the jacket, the one you were using for parts, is destroyed in the process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent. So that's probably a day of your time. And then what was the
Yeah.
other thing?
That's what I was figuring. So I kind of pictured it like I'm just resting up, healing, practicing guitar, that kind of thing. And then I go to try to get into that chip after my head stops hurting so bad. And then I get frustrated with the chip and do the armor repair. And then I get frustrated with that and I do. So I just keep like for 2 days, I'm just bouncing to keep myself sane. That's how I
Okay.
picture it.
Okay.
But
Sounds
same
good.
amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. So the chip is the second thing you wanted to look at.
Yeah.
All right. And just so I know, this is the chip you guys pulled from Kaze and the others too?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and make let's start with electronics.
Okay. And there are 2 things I kind of want to learn from this.
Okay.
One, I want to invent a thing. I don't want to invent it, but I want to suggest a thing or talk with talk with Checkers about inventing a thing that would pull it directly out easily if we needed it to undo the lock. And then secondly, I want to see how it's working.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a check on that.
Yeah, electronics.
Yep.
The highest skill. That is 22.
22 is not bad. So it takes you a good 8 hours straight of working with this thing and kind of doing some research with your agent to figure out like what the different chips and contacts could what the different contacts could lead to the different circuits on the board actually mean. You actually have to split the thing open to take a look at the whole board. And you're doing some research, and it piggybacks kind of on the same system that a skill chip would use.
Okay.
So
I also
taps.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. What were you gonna say?
I also could do a cybertech roll. I'm really smart in that too.
Oh, that would have been more applicable. What would the roll
That
been
would have
if
been
it
a
was
20.
that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So a little less in that case, but I think that the difficulty would also move down. So you definitely notice that the chip taps into different parts of the brain, similar to a skill chip, like the cerebellum. You've also got a little bit of use on the parietal lobe, in terms of just kind of shutting it down, and then there's also tapping into bits of the temporal lobe, which all seems to make sense to you considering, the symptoms that you've noticed. Temporal lobe has to deal with memory, speech, and behavior, and that kind of thing. So, do you have any science?
No, probably just general education.
So further than that, what kind of parts of the brain that it touches, but there really isn't much more that you can glean. It would take an actual scientist. It's a very complicated chip.
Sure.
But you did get a good kind of overview for what parts of the brain that it's capable of touching.
Okay. Nice. And I would like to talk with Cammy after that.
Okay.
So I don't know if that ends my week or not.
It ends your week, but you can have the conversation with Cammy.
Okay. Hey, Cammy.
Do you come to
You
her
free?
house, or are you texting her?
I'm texting her if she's free.
Sure. Yeah. What's up?
Hey, I was just going through. Can we chat? I'm not. You come over here, or I'll come over there.
Sure. I'll scroll you in a bit.
Cool.
In a little bit, Cammy shows up wearing her kind of beige rainbow sweater, short skirt and fishnets.
Nice. Hey, have you gone over this chip? Have you found? And I want to discuss. It affects. I saw that it affects this part of the brain and this part of the brain and this part of the brain. I wondered if you had gleaned any other information.
No. Honestly, cybertech really isn't my specialty. I know some basic things, but it's mostly about maintenance and mostly about maintenance.
Oh, okay. I just saw you. I thought we had said that you were looking at the chip as well, so I didn't know if you had picked up anything.
I was, but I honestly, it's a little bit more complicated. Skill chips are almost like magic to me.
Well, considering you could know nothing about something and then know a lot about it in
Exactly.
a second.
So yeah,
All right.
as far as like removal, I can remove one. It's pretty simple though. They designed them for idiots.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just locked in there, so it takes you a minute to get it out.
Yeah, they added a lock for this particular port.
Yeah. I was trying to see if I was thinking about talking to checkers and see if we could figure out a way to work on getting one that could just get it out right away. Take less time.
I suppose you could, as long as all of the cases are uniform.
Well, do these match? And I'll look. Do you have one?
I have the chip, but what we need is the cover.
Oh, the cover. Oh, I don't have a cover. I left that. Do you still have the covers over there? Did we take them out?
Yeah, we took them out. I think they're sitting on the bathroom sink unless Moxie cleaned them up. She's a Nazi about cleaning up things.
Oh. I gotcha.
But we can ask her.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's go see if they're there.
All right. Guys, meander on back to her house where you look. Moxie, are they there?
They're not on the bathroom sink, no.
Okay. Would they be in a place they could easily find?
Probably.
Where would that be?
It depends on how Moxie is very organized when it comes to things, so I think she would have put them somewhere with Cammy's other electronic shit. So whether or not Cammy is clever enough to be like, Moxie probably clean them up and put them here, it is up to Cammy.
Cammy is
Tote
pretty
that's
smart.
just labeled like Cammy's shit.
Cammy's electronic shit.
It's just like spilling over with shit.
It's like a tiered system. There's drawers now. Moxie slowly tried to organize it in shape. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, eventually she's digging through those boxes and finds the covers.
Oh,
hands
nice. You
hands
found
one over to you. Yeah.
Is it screwed in kind of thing? Like,
Yeah, there's basically 3 different screws that you have to undo. It's not like an overly complex system, but it does take a little bit of time and finesse.
is it like if we made something that went in and unscrewed, we'd just pull it right out?
Yeah, you'd
thing?
pull it up and then out, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
When you describe it, I always see it as, do you remember on like the old HPs and Dells that they had that lever that would go over the back of the PCIe cards that would keep you from, like, you would have to like unscrew it and lift it before you could pull the cards?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I see. Oh, thank you for the hydrate.
Oh, thanks for the hydrate. I will smoke. Because I don't actually have water with me.
And they're all the same when we find them all.
Yeah.
Well, it looks pretty universal so far.
Yeah, it must be something they've manufactured themselves or something.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of a way to counter it in case we run into these people again and not have to kill them.
Could use a microwaver.
That is an option. Maybe we should get one of those. I'll talk to Rex about that. I was also thinking of it. I guess it wouldn't be easy to use. But
I definitely wouldn't insert it if that's what you're thinking.
well, I was thinking of inserting another chip to counter it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't know. Wouldn't you have to, like, know how it works?
Yeah, that's the problem. That would take a long time.
Yeah.
Or if we could insert a chip that would break that thing, would ruin this piece of cyberware. That's an option. I guess I'll ponder that.
It could work.
'Cause
Maybe.
I wouldn't know how it would react though, and to test it would be a bad idea.
True. We'd have to test it live.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you feeling better? I know I am. That was rough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my brain stopped being in fire a few days ago.
Well, good.
I'm just glad we made it all out alive.
Yeah. No, that was. Yeah.
Thanks for looking into the chip. Sorry I wasn't of much more help.
No, it's quite all right.
You actually learned a lot more than I did. I'll be sure to give Moxie some kudos to you.
Oh, well, thank you. I just want to figure out what's going on here. Mostly.
That's fair.
And how it relates to Shady Acres.
Does it?
If it does, I mean, that's
Same
what I'm
guys
here for.
involved. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it does.
Well, that guy's our biggest lead on it.
Mm-hmm. What are you
And if
thinking?
he's- I mean, if he's a badass solo like we've heard, I think the microwaver is probably the number one good idea.
It'll
can
help
find
us
one.
in a few different situations, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have Checkers build one.
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we can find one, yeah. Oh, shoot. I think I remember we're supposed to go scavenge something.
What are we scavenging?
I can't remember.
Not going to be very useful.
No, it's not.
Weren't you
I
going
hope
to...
checkers.
Wasn't it something to do with like a... Something to do with the house?
Yeah, probably. I better go find checkers.
All right. Have fun.
Yeah. Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
I'm gonna text checkers.
Okay.
Hey, buddy.
Before you do, let's catch Checkers up.
Sure.
What are you going to do for the week?
My week is already planned to be at the Nomads upgrading the van.
Oh, okay. So you hang out a lot with the nomads and get used to, well, you've already kind of gotten to know most of, at least the ones that are more sociable.
Yeah.
One thing,
Colt promised to help me with the upgrades.
right. What are you upgrading? And let's price that out.
Well, number one upgrade is bulletproof glass. And I know how much it costs. I have no idea how much time it takes.
That's in getting it done, I think.
It's in the Nomad roll ability. Or no, that's how much it costs. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Well, Blank looks that up. Just a reminder, we are still raising funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So if you would like to support that, you can click the link that I will post in the chat in a minute for those of you who are listening. Oh no, this only goes to Sunday. Never mind.
So it's
Those
almost
of you-
over.
yeah, though. There's a link in chat that you can follow.
All right.
You're
So
muted, buddy.
me? Oh.
No games. Yeah.
James, Wraith is muted.
I'm sure that was a beautiful spiel, though, whatever you said that corrected everything I did.
I mean, you could unmute and say it. I have one more thing to look up.
I'm less disruptive when I'm on mute. No, I was just saying, and for anybody who is listening to the podcast or watching the YouTube video here in the future, just know that the link was in chat.
Between the two of you, it'll take 2 weeks to install.
Okay.
This is 1,000 eddies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Or-
automatically.
Or wait, is it
expensive because it's a
5,000
car
eddies?
upgrade. No, it's 1,000.
Okay. So spend the 1,000 for the parts and that kind of thing, and then go ahead and you guys will need to make a basic tech check. Or, yep, plus any maker or not maker, field expertise.
Not upgrade.
Not upgrade.
Well, I've got field expertise, but I've also got upgrade expertise.
Oh
and I
shit!
don't know which one.
Now I need to
would
look
apply.
at what the difference is. Hold on.
Assume upgrade.
I mean, my field is actually better. I just want to make sure we know which one.
Oh.
It might be upgrade. You are a techie, and that is called Maker.
Hmm.
The roll ability. So upgrade is for upgrade a vehicle with an upgrade that only requires a nomad rank ability of 1. So you're correct. It is upgrade.
Okay. 24.
Holy shit. Oh yeah,
Nice.
and it's actually 25 because of the help that Colt
Mhm.
is giving you. I did have something wrong as well. I thought it was a $5,000 upgrade, which would have taken the 2 weeks. Between the two of you with this very expensive upgrade, it is only 1 week.
Cool. So there you go. That's my week, unless somebody contacts me.
And no, at the end of your week, I guess Deeps gives you a call. Or, well, I guess he just comes into the house.
Mm.
Deeps, you're up.
Hey, Checkers, you're back.
Yeah.
How'd
Good
the
news.
upgrade-
Bulletproof glass.
Hell yeah. No more getting shot from cops through the windows.
Yeah. I mean, that's something.
No, for sure. Hey, don't we have something planned coming up?
I mean, we're waiting for Wraith to get home, and then we have to make plans, and we're supposed to be doing security for the house.
Yes,
Yeah.
that. Don't we supposed to go scavenging?
I mean, I remember you talking about something where you needed a net architecture,
Oh, that's what we were talking about, right?
but I don't remember anything about scavenging.
I don't remember. Oh well.
Have you been doing drugs?
No, and maybe that's the problem.
Maybe
I
you
need
just
to
need to
go-
stop getting your brain scrambled.
Yes. But yeah.
Okay, well, I've got a list of things to do. Are you saying you need me to go scavenging?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was you or me. My brain was on fire at the time. So
Okay, how about when we need to do something, you text it to any
good
one
idea.
of us.
I'm gonna check the group chat.
So it's written down somewhere.
I can't remember what was in your group chat, but it was mostly about meeting up in person.
Yeah. Hey, we're ready to scavenge. What are we getting? I can't remember.
Let's catch Moxie up.
Yo.
What are you going to do for the week?
She's gonna text Rex about stuff she wants to buy and stuff she has to trade.
Okay. What is it you...
I sent you that like forever ago.
Oh, didn't I already give you the price for
Yeah,
all those?
but we didn't technically do it ICly yet, so she does that.
Okay. Then
Yeah,
the money comes in.
thanks.
Or is spent. I think you were over, if I remember.
I was over
correctly.
by like 120 eddies or something.
So the money is spent.
Yeah. And I have my stuff, I assume, by the end of the week.
Yep.
Cool. And then she's going to work on her article. She's going to research the information that she has. Go through, the various videos, make notes about how she's going to draft this.
Draft what?
Her article against the Jackal's Lantern.
Okay.
Various bits of information that she has.
As you're working during that week, you get a text from FC that says, "Why haven't I heard anything?"
I have a lot of information and I'm deciding which angle to take.
You better get your salvo all ready this time. No half-assing it. I want real
Okay.
sources, verifiable. You're gonna take a second shot, and that's already gonna be harder. So you better have it ready this time.
I will.
Good. Text conversation ends at that point. So go ahead and make a compose check.
How long would this roughly take to do?
Kind of depends on how long you want to spend on it, but I mean,
How long
you
does
can.
it take her to normally draft?
Let's say a day.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me think about that.
Sure.
Because I do usually require games to take a week to create. Is it a whole album or is it just a song?
You had me do the whole album in a week, but I had to do a week to write it and then a week to record it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'd say for this probably a week. Let's
For
go
all
with
of
that.
it?
For this article to compose all the pieces that you have
Mhm.
into one article and that includes like editing it and rereading it and making sure that it's up
Right.
to snuff. This is creating a full article
Cool.
that's ready to print.
In which case, because I was going to, if it's just going to take a day, I was going to do 4 times as long for composition, 4 times as long on the photography, and take like 4 days each. But if it's going to take a full week, I
Gonna take a
can't
week.
take a fucking month. Is there anything, any complementary skill I can do
For an additional bonus?
for that +1? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the photo film thing would be a compliment, or I'm sorry.
No, I always have to do both.
Oh, because you're a video
You've always made
person.
me do composition.
Yeah,
and photo
yeah,
film.
you're right.
can I make
Yes,
an
Steves.
argument for her +1? Sorry, go ahead.
I know photo film
So do I.
could help, but I'd say I could help. If that would help.
We had the master director cut my BD she's using as part of her thing.
That's
So
all,
that
that's
has
going
to
to count. That's already going to count somewhere else.
I know. I'm just.
Count
That
it,
is
yeah,
going
cut
to
hers too.
going to give her a bonus, but not at this
After
point.
this.
Give me a second to look over the skill list and see if I can help you out with that.
Sure. I had a plan. I apologize that my plan went off.
Let's start with some questions here to get an idea of what the
Sure.
article is going to look like.
Yeah.
What are you putting in the article, and what
Great question.
how are you trying to spin it?
That the lantern is a front, the club is just a front for horrific deeds. And she's going to include her BD, Wraith's BD. She's going to grab a copy of Wraith's garden video page thing when he was saying that Dracul was a Nazi and to link it to his BD to say this is what they do to people who don't, who are aggressive to them, or who cause problems.
Okay.
She's going to use the internal emails she has between Dracul and Voight, especially regarding Wraith and Jenny,
Okay.
and link that together, and then the one between him and Nosferatu.
Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
She had my charismatic
It's
leadership.
4. I'm counting the internal emails as one piece of evidence because they
Okay.
paint the picture together.
And that they've gotten away with it for so long because I really don't want to use this. Kaze does not have a BD.
She did not have a BD, no.
She does not have a BD. Okay.
But you could use testimony. That would count as
To
evidence.
give testimony because she does not want to relive that shit. And Moxie didn't recall.
It has to be verifiable, which means you'd have to reveal a source.
She'd ask her if she'd want to, but she would do that at the... No, well, she'd ask her if she'd want to.
Okay. I'm gonna need a persuasion for that.
Sure.
If
I feel
it
like
says
I should take a -2 because Moxie really doesn't want to put her in the spotlight, to be perfectly honest. She doesn't like it.
if you want to
Yeah.
hinder yourself, sure.
I know, but I'm going to.
Okay.
That's a 10.
Oh,
Followed by 7, so that makes that a 15 plus
I think
persuasion.
that's like a base 10, right? Or maybe 12?
11 actually for persuasion. So 26.
She says no. No, yeah, she
Yeah, that's fair.
after a while she's kind of, she's still reclusive, but she has warmed up a little bit to you guys during the week. Like she'll say good morning. Not a whole lot else. But when you bring up to her, you approach her rather uncomfortably and kind of stumble through this like grand scheme that you have and ask like you need her help to complete the story. And you tell her what that entails, about revealing herself, but also giving this testimony that could potentially put them down for good. She agrees. She says, okay. She'll go through it with you again so you can take notes.
Okay.
Um,
Moxie will film it with her video camera.
Okay. And that's it for that. So Kaze's testimony. So that's 5 pieces of evidence.
No.
I'm going to go with the complementary skill for this, criminology.
Okay. I used that one last time, right? No. So, I mean, even if she does reuse it, she would. It's another 10.
Holy
Followed
shit!
by a 1.
Well, still a
No.
10.
It's still a 10.
11 even.
criminology, 20.
20. 20 is pretty decent. I will give you the +1 for the composition. Now let's see if those 10s last.
They won't. I know they won't. Remind me what I need to hit for these?
Well, they're quite high.
I know. Did we change it?
I don't think so. Let me double check.
Because I know there was one. Originally, it was one rolled into the other, and I asked if they could be separate but give their own bonus, but higher.
I gotta look through our combo.
I apologize.
Did we pin that? Please tell me we pinned
No,
it.
that would have been smart.
Son of a bitch.
You did pin it, but then the anti-hacker that keeps trying to take our show down unpinned it. So
At least I'm fairly certain we didn't pin it because
This time you
Yeah.
got 5 pieces of evidence for this one.
Yeah, and I was making sure I had at least 5, so I'm pretty set.
Those
I
are
think she
some-
also has a
You can
copy of Dracul's lyrics that she'd add to that.
You can use my diss track I made about Dracul.
Ooh, that's the opener.
All right. Let's see what we decided here. This is a little bit of house rules, just trying to give some credence to composition in photo and film.
I appreciate.
Great rolls, by the
Man,
way.
that believability roll is rough.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because it can have absolutely dramatic effect on
Absolutely.
the entire world around
Absolutely.
you.
At higher levels, you can affect things like worldwide, let alone citywide or neighborhood.
But you're rocking it so far. You just gotta keep it
So
rolling.
there are 2 stages, DV17 for the first one and DV21 for the second.
Yeah. And I wondered if I could do them separately.
They're separate, one for composition, one for photo and film.
But doesn't the composition one give me a bonus to photo and film, and then only if I get the bonus to photo and film does it go towards my story?
Let me see.
Number crunching, guys. I apologize. One of my skills is much higher than the other. This is where this comes from.
Oh, you are right. That is how I have it written.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I kind of wish we had the month. That would have helped.
Apologies, guys.
Okay. I think what I had asked was, but it only gives me at most a +1. Is that correct?
So the way I'm doing this is in this writing is the composition is a complementary for photo film, giving you a little bit more than a normal +1 for getting a success or a chance at it. And then the photo and film is going to give you some more believability if you succeed in that.
But just one more believability, or
The or chance. No, there are 2 different chances. Just the second one is incredibly hard.
right? So I think I had asked if they could both have their own DV, but a higher DV.
Oh, for like potentially +4 believability?
No, +1 each.
Oh, okay.
So I still am only getting at most +2.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can go ahead and house rule that really quick. Let's say that DV21 is... Yeah, DV21 for the composition, and then DV24 for the photo and film.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to spend all 6 points of luck on composition.
Okay.
Use a different dice. Not
Go,
the one that's been rolling
Moxie.
10s.
You can do it.
I don't think I hit it.
What'd you get?
Oh, maybe 24.
24 is enough to get
For
the
composition.
+1 believability on composition.
Cool. Okay. And then for photography and film.
Yep.
Shit, that's a 10.
Get a 10.
And a 5, which makes it 25, which just beats the DV.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah!
Holy shit is right.
Oh shit.
Fuck.
So that's 2 weeks. Just so
Yeah,
you know.
I'm okay with that taking the full 2 weeks. That's fine.
Okay. So yeah, you spend hours upon hours just pouring everything of yourself into the writing of this script, and you get it, and it's so good that it makes the filming just a breeze. You film this, you film Kaze's interview, enough to tear jerk. So you use what you know about criminal, the masterminds, how they work, and also other things you've seen from other true crime pieces that you've read, and kind of spin it similar to them, but enough in a way that it has your own personal Moxie take on it, where it's just hard hitting, very blunt, and in your face, and intense. At the end, you are insanely proud of what you've created, and you're like, I guess we have to roll back a quick moment because Deeps did text you before you start filming. He says, "Hey, we're gonna go salvaging. What are we looking for?"
No idea.
Cammy says, "I think we were just gonna scavenge for that portable thing. The net architecture."
The net architecture?
Yeah.
Because we can't, yeah. That's
Because buying one is expensive.
Yeah.
But also the microwaver.
I have a microwave.
Just kidding. We
Small
don't need to
one.
scavenge for that.
I mean, it's in a glove, but I have one.
Can it hit people from far away?
About the same distance as my handgun.
It's pretty close, but not too close.
But I mean, I'm also wearing it, so if you guys want something else, depends on what you need it for. It's like 3 question marks.
We were talking about in case we encounter more of these people who are mind controlled or chip controlled, and then we hit them with that.
Then my guess is you'd want something that can do an area and not.
So like an EMP.
Which wouldn't a grenade do that exact thing?
Mhm.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Only if they're nicely grouped together.
Still seems like a better option.
And easier to obtain.
So no salvaging then? Frowny face.
You still need an architecture, don't you?
Oh, your coat's done.
Sweet, thanks.
I don't know. He didn't seem enthusiastic about that.
Moxie just looks over from where she's seated at her laptop at the table and just looks at Cammy like, really?
She's just smirking and smoking her cigarette. In her underwear, per usual.
Okay, well, I can go scavenging, or I can work on reinforcing our doors.
I can help you with the doors. I think that's a good idea.
I'm not going scavenging alone. So if that is the plan, then I'm not doing it.
What are we scavenging?
The net architecture!
Net architecture.
Like 6 exclamation points.
Moxie puts her phone down at this point and resumes kind of working on her article, assuming she'll hear Cammy's voice side of conversation.
She actually says it out loud when she's typing it.
Just kidding, JK.
Okay, yes. I think you need drugs, because you're messing with us now.
Stop trying to convince people to do drugs. We already had drug problems.
Different
All right. I'll go with Cammy to scavenge. See if we can come up with that. If you want to work on the doors, do you need help with
Yeah,
the
that
doors?
sounds good. You good with that, Cammy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys
Uh,
have fun.
Games, are you picking up an agent?
Yeah, I need to make 3 stops on my way back to the house.
Okay. What 3?
I need a new agent.
Okay.
Need to stop by the Kindashi dealership. And sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can't remember what the last one was.
To pick up some synth.
Yeah, I do some coke. No, we'll start with that, and if I remember it, I'll tell you.
Okay. The agent is going to cost you 120 eddies.
Yep. Can I get my same number ported over?
Sure.
Okay.
As long as you provide ID.
Yeah, of course. Oh, I think my trauma team contract has expired. I need to renew that on my way home too.
Okay, go ahead and renew that. I don't remember where trauma team. I think it's only 500.
And he's got silver, right?
He's got silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, silver is 500.
Okay.
And they'll just charge you that flat.
Okay.
No markup. Kendachi dealership. There's no dealership per se. Obviously manufacturing is still a large issue here.
Right.
And distribution. It's not impossible, but you are going to have to go through a fixer for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was trying to not go through Rex. So I guess I will.
It's not the only fixer in Night City. He's the only one you know.
Oh, I'm
but-
aware.
Well, that's not true. You do know 8-Ball, but you've kind of made yourself on bad terms with him as
Me
well.
and 8-Ball aren't in bad terms.
You swore him out right in front of Ascanity one day.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for the hydrant.
Oh, thanks for
How
that.
many times have I done that to Rex?
Rex is a lot more forgiving than you give him
This is
credit
a
for.
sign of
Not in
affection.
public. No, different story, man.
So, who do you want to go with? And
I'm going to go to a runner's bar.
what runner's bar do you know?
I'm going to look around in bars for a place that looks like it's full of people that could kick my ass. And then I'm going to go to one of them and ask them if they know where I can get a katana.
So
Hey,
you're just
you got
going to
your
hunt
fixer's
randomly.
contacts? Yes. And I will trade on my name to the best of my ability. I don't know if you know who I am. I'm Wraith.
Give me a sec. Do local expert. You're going to have to do it for Watson.
Yeah.
Specifically Kabuki.
Okay. I got an 8.
Total?
Buddy.
You spend
Roll
a
the
day.
1.
You spend a day looking in different bars, and nobody's willing to deal with you, and most people try to avoid the conversation.
All right. I'm going to head home then
Okay.
after that day.
Okay. Head home. So you head back to the apartment at the
I'm
Nook.
going to, to check her in Deep's house.
All right, you head there. Probably early in the morning, and knock on the door. Gunk, gunk, gunk. Checkers and deeps, the door has been knocked upon. But
Literally
before
gonna
we
stand
start,
next-
let's take our break.
All right.
We'll be back in 10, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Don't forget to donate. There's only a few hours left, I think, maybe, hopefully. If not, catch us next time. But thank you for all of your donations so far. We appreciate you. We'll see you in about 10.
Yep.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shades of Scarlet, our Cyberpunk Red campaign that airs every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to get right into it. Games, Wraith has returned to the apartment, has just knocked on the door. The door opens where Checkers is on the other side. So let's go. Oh no, Checkers isn't on the other side?
Checkers was gonna stand next to the door with her gun in her hand and be like, "Who is it?"
Well, she is still on the other side.
But the door isn't open.
Door
I'm
isn't
having
open.
my gun out too.
It's your former roommate?
Wraith! She flings the door open and like jumps on him to hug him.
He's still very sore, but he accepts this and returns the hug heartily.
You're back.
Yeah, you guys stay out of trouble while I was gone?
I'm gonna run up.
Yes, totally.
Run up and give him a hug and say,
I
"Fuck
return the
no."
Good. Hey, are you cutting my film? Or are you just doing the editing after it's cut?
Who, me?
Yeah. I throw down the 5 BDs worth of footage that I recorded.
I
I
don't
want to.
have the equipment yet.
All right.
We're
What
going
is-
Something you
scavenging
should
though.
ask Swag about.
Yeah, I suppose I could get Swag to do it. Scavenging? Sounds fun. Where are we going? Part of town.
I'm not sure yet.
All right, I'm in.
Reinforcing doors.
Okay.
Shit, come have a beer, man.
I'm good on a beer, but I could go for a green tea.
All right, all right.
Just tell Moxie you're back.
I'm sending out a group text that says "brace back" in very exclamation pointies large font.
Okay. You want me to go see if the girls want to join us down at Frank's for the old time's sake?
Yeah, we could do that.
I go knock on the girl's door. I also send Rex a text inviting him to meet us there.
Okay. The door is knocked upon. You got the text. What are you doing, Moxie?
She looks at it for a moment.
Cammy's
Says
there,
this-
hiking up her skirt, zipping it up, and fastening it.
Turning it around.
Oh yeah, turning it around.
She gives Cam a very confused look.
I mean, come on.
Like he hasn't seen you. Anyway, should I open the door?
No, I'm going to go out to say hello.
Oh,
I'm not going to
yeah,
go
no, no,
out in my
that's
underwear.
different. That's different. I mean, it's probably him at the door.
Oh. Right. Maybe. Open it. What are you doing?
Moxie gets up. She gets up from her laptop. She'll look through the peephole first to make sure it is in fact Wraith.
It is
Is-
Streamline. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's
And we'll join you guys next week.
Thanks for waiting 10 minutes for 7 of content.
Uh,
Gun in hand, but when she sees that's Wraith, she'll stow her
She'll
pistol.
cock
in
the gun.
door. No. She opens the door wide.
Hey, how goes it?
How does Wraith look at this moment?
His hair is brown. He is wearing a nice shirt, like a white shirt and black pants. He looks very subdued and healthy. Much healthier than you saw him right before the bullet mission, per se.
Oh.
You look good.
Hey, thanks. So do you. So, are you busy or?
Cammy's in the background, like hiking up her stock or like her fishnets.
I wave.
She
happily
waves
at it.
You can-
excitedly.
Come in.
I was wondering if you wanted to go down to Frank's. The whole gang together? I come in while I'm saying this.
Moxie closes the door, if only to give Cammy privacy from someone who might walk by.
Fair enough.
I can leave for a little bit. Sure.
Yeah, just a few minutes. Catch up. I can tell you all the crazy stories from the road.
Yeah.
Explain how I haven't had an agent in almost a month.
Okay. That explains the lack of texts after a certain point.
Did you get the one of the potato I sent you?
I did, yeah. Now, what about the potato specifically reminded you of me?
The potato is a noble vegetable.
Uh-huh.
Cammy
It-
like
it-
stops, like she's pulling on her shirt, and it's like halfway down her eyes, and just gives
It's
you this
honest. It is what it is. And honestly, it's the cornerstone of a lot of economies.
Mm.
I don't think that's true anymore.
Well, it was at one point. Plus, it's rare to find a potato that big. I wanted an excuse to text you, and I saw a potato I liked, all right?
You never need an excuse, Wraith.
Uh,
You should know that.
I wasn't in the clearest of thoughts when I sent it, so.
Hey, hi,
What do you
Shelf.
mean?
Oh,
Thank you for the raid.
Hey,
And welcome
thank
in,
you so
Raiders. Good to
Welcome,
see ya.
guys.
How was your first episode of TTRPG?
Is that what it was? Nice.
That's what it was.
Nice.
I hung out for like the briefest bits
Potato.
before having to come here.
Thanks, guys. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here.
Welcome, welcome.
Really cool setup. If you guys have a chance, you should check out High Shelf Collective.
Yes,
You
Oh,
know,
definitely.
for sure.
TTRPG shit.
They're great.
Every chance
Oh,
I
thanks for the
can,
follow.
I watch. Things were a little fuzzy in the middle there, and I apologize.
Awesome as
What do you
always,
mean?
Potato.
You know how it is on the road. Things get chaotic, and
How about you give me a straight answer?
I got addicted to synth coke and Smash, and
You got
Wraith tried to
addicted
steal
while
my bus.
Veronica was with you.
oh, Veronica decided not to go with me. She broke up with me right before I left on tour.
This is gonna go horribly, but I'd like to human perception check him.
Okay, go ahead and make your, I guess, persuasion or conversation. Your choice. Just tell us the number.
I make the
That's not
persuasion.
going well at
Or
all.
conversation.
You'll do fine.
A 1 followed by an 8.
What's
Ooh,
the total?
still?
I'm looking. My persuasion's a 13, so what is that? 6.
My 12 beats your 6.
Nice.
What does she glean?
He tries to come off like it didn't bother him that Veronica didn't come. But very clearly He would not have made some of the stupid decisions he made if he had a better influence, and he's not blaming her for it by any means, but it hurt
And
him.
Does she get the belief that Veronica did break up with him and he's hurt by this?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right.
Yeah, I kind of liked her.
Yeah, she was cool. I guess in the end we decided mutually that I need to figure out my shit.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You do.
You
Yeah,
do.
for sure. That's what my addiction counselor I just saw for the last week was telling me.
Okay.
Seems harsh.
Yeah, but people have been telling me I need to figure out my shit since I was like 8.
So what's different about this time?
I've been doing my best to figure out my shit, and I still ended up back in the same situation. There I was, staring down 13 wraiths by myself.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, we got stopped by the wraiths, and they tried to steal my tour bus. And I get in these situations, and I think to myself, like, how does this happen? Like, I've grown as a person.
Have you?
I would like to believe so.
Were you harmed?
Oh, no. No, I had a nice civil conversation with them. Gave them a little bit of money, and then everybody went on their ways.
It's not an easy feat.
Yeah, they were very convinced that they were going to take the bus, and they didn't end up doing that, and I appreciated it.
Yeah, we might not have seen you for another week.
Yeah, right? I know.
Oh, but you mentioned drinks at the hovel, so
Yeah. I already went and talked to the kids. They're down. I sent Rex a text. I'm sure he'll meet us there.
sure. Shall we?
Of course. I'm gonna grab.
Moxie's going to text Deeps actually.
Okay. Just deeps.
Just Deeps. Can you bring my jacket with you, please?
On the note of jackets.
Yes. I will
Cheers.
reply.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Cammy's jacket off of wherever she had flung it down on the furniture and, like, you know, hold it up for her to put on. And
Oh. She says, such a gentleman. Look at this. If I didn't know better, Wraith, I'd think you were trying to flirt with me next.
I promise, like, I love you dearly, but I respect you too much to try to mess up your life like
That's fucked up to your girlfriends, just so you
Yeah, it
know.
is.
that. Have
very
you met
much
them?
Yes.
They had it coming.
All of them.
No, Veronica was
think.
very sweet. I liked her.
I
She was a
liked
great lady.
Emily was dumb, but kind of nice.
No,
she's-
Emily was
no.
amazing.
Look, the way she took care of him after his incident, that really warmed me up to her.
Sure.
And I mean, the exes before that, Rico and Z, didn't really work
I
out
don't
so
know
well.
if I really met any of them.
I didn't know them well.
At least I
They-
don't think so.
They were good people that ended up in a bad situation. Anyway, come on.
We're going. She puts on the coat and y'all head up.
Yeah, Moxie
Uh,
locked the door behind them.
Group heads out to Frank's hovel. And I'm trying to think of what day it is. Once again.
I don't know. I know a week has passed. That's it.
Thorin's Day?
We're in May? April. Oh, May.
May.
Oh. No, April. Okay, the job at the station was Saturday. We got the streamline info from Kaze on Sunday. So if this is Monday, it's May 1st.
Oh, okay. Does everybody have your rent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you add your car maintenance fee onto your lifestyle stuff?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Then you'll need to add that.
Okay.
It's an extra. Moxie, how much is your 200? But you have a high performance sports car.
No, it's the same you said, so it's 100 EV.
100 eddies.
And that's for gas and maintenance.
So add that onto your rent. Remember, you can split the rent for the I guess, well, 2-bedroom in half. Games, if you want to eat, you'll need to at least buy kibble.
I am gonna spend for food. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm assuming I'm gonna be helping the kids pay part of their rent
Does it? I don't know.
so that I
It's
have a
up to them.
couch to stay on. Oh, we haven't discussed it yet.
I think we've already paid rent at this point.
Yeah, I think that's
If
true.
it's the first. Do we know? I somehow. Oh, I did add it there. Okay, so. Thank you. Never mind. I got it figured out.
Cool. What's everybody's? What?
I'm gonna go ahead and, just to be hopeful, pay the $50 maintenance for my motorcycle.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
What are you guys doing?
We
Going
went into Frank's.
right. Did everybody minus the money?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Same.
I don't need to know what lifestyles you guys are at right now, but eventually tell me. Continuing on, you guys all walk into Frank's hovel, and yeah, it's Monday. Place is like early in the day. Place is pretty much dead. Kuniko is working, and she gives you guys all a bow of her head. Irashaimase. Gestures over to the booth of yours that you always select, and which is empty.
Cool. I go sit down.
Okay.
Moxie will take a seat.
Okay. You guys all take a seat.
Yeah.
How have things been?
Oh, you know. Breaking
It's a
A little
heads
crazy.
a little bit.
I wouldn't have it any other way. But we all look healthy and happy.
If you'd been here a few weeks ago, that would not be the case.
About par for the course for us.
Yeah, looks like the jackals are still looking.
Wait, are we in our booth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did anybody put money in the white noise generator?
Not yet.
That's
I was
not
waiting
yet.
for her to say
As soon
something.
as she
And then
said something, Box is like, no, wait. And she puts 5 eddies in.
Sorry.
I'm going to look over to Kuniko. And I'm going to point at the table and then make a round motion.
She nods, understanding. Looks like the jackals are after at least Moxie. Maybe you too.
Are there any jackals left?
Most
3.
of them.
That's unfortunate.
Or at least most of the higher up guys. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We know of a few, and then there's possible connections, I guess, to other stuff.
Okay, so what's our plan?
We're going to kill them all.
Yeah, hit them before they hit us, obviously. But I mean, what's the plan?
Gestures to Moxie.
Plan is to get the NCPD to take them out if my article goes well. So that we don't have to.
I like that plan.
If it fails, then we'll have to. But they're under Streamline's orders.
What do you mean they're under Streamline's orders?
They originally wanted all of us for killing Dracul. Then that calmed down until Streamline showed up, said that they owed him. And he wants me silenced in any way they want.
Moxie,
Mm-hmm.
I respect you as a writer, and I think that you'll do a great job on this
Just
article.
get to your point.
I feel like we should kill Streamline regardless of how well the article goes.
Streamline is not a member of Jackal's Lantern.
I'm just saying.
He's got a point.
My point is, even if we set Jackal's Lantern aside, even if they get arrested by NCPD, if they don't and we still go after them, Streamline's still an issue. That was my point.
Exactly.
And whoever has hired him.
They seem to want you alive, though.
The Jackal's Lantern wanted me alive. Possibly to get all of you. Possibly so Nosferatu can make me his plaything before he zeroed me.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
You don't know that?
I do.
Streamline said I need to be taken care of. So,
I'm just saying that I promise that you'll never go through what we went through again.
right.
Streamline may be a problem, though.
They're all a problem.
What do we know about Streamline? Like, actually know, and not just the rumors that we've heard.
I know. Not just the rumors we've heard.
Not much from what I've gathered.
I know he's big. I know he's chipped. I know he's got a ton of cyberware that makes him strong enough to lift a grown-ass man off the floor and toss him across the room like a rag doll.
Who's he currently running with?
Last I heard rumors, he was working for NewSat.
That doesn't feel like... I feel like there's more there, though.
Either way, he'll have answers.
Yes, but I'd rather him be zeroed than kept alive for answers.
Then you kill your lead.
Might not be my only lead. Just going through a lot of the evidence I had on the lantern. I was putting together my article. It's about halfway done. And I was looking at some internal conversations. And they mentioned Streamline had gotten them a copy of... Jess is blanking. Give me a moment.
Well, I'll fill in the blank. It's Fresh Slate.
Thank you. Copy of Fresh Slate. And there was a lot of talk of chipping people with this Fresh Slate and turning them into mannequins. Which I'm guessing is the chips we found.
Right.
and the people who came after me at the train station. And what cause it was chipped with. On an interesting note, since NewSat may or may not be linked with Tiger Claws, when we grabbed that footage from the Tiger Claw building, there was that note you showed me, Deeps, about chip distribution. It may be absolutely nothing. Maybe those chips.
That's a problem.
If that's what it is. Now, I have no idea why NewSat would come at me now, because I haven't gone after them in months. Unless they realize I'll go after anything, and if Streamline mentioned that the Lantern has this information, maybe he knows they might have this information. I don't know.
Or
Is there
if
any-
they're
Might not be
working up to
connected at all.
something.
Yeah.
If they're about to make a big move, and they know they have an idea that you might have something against that.
Or
That they don't know I know anything about these chips.
maybe they
They
made
will
a mistake
once this article gets published.
and they think that you're close to figuring out what that mistake is, take you out before you put the pieces together.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I've done, and she looks at Cammy. Were you offline when you looked at the thing I gave you?
I wasn't using a Faraday cage or anything, if that's what you mean.
So it's possible that if there was a signal that was ever looked at, it went out.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay. I can track that down, but Cammy tells me that the only person who can read it is in the combat zone. So, Streamline isn't the only lead. But barring why they're coming after me aside, they're not going to wait. They've already waited a week. They're not going to wait longer to try and get me a second time. So I think we put Y on hold and prioritize taking out our immediate threats.
Right. And since we know that they're coming for you, we just use you in a way that will get them where we need them.
You're saying make her bait?
She already is
Yes.
bait. I'm saying dangle her.
Well, they'll probably send Charles again.
Charles.
He's not, he's an outside contract. He's not a member of the Lantern.
Do you remember a dude in the cage room, all red?
Not offhand. There was a lot going on.
Well, he was there.
Hmm.
He was the one leading to try to kidnap Moxie.
All right.
Out of
Yeah,
curiosity,
we're,
is Rex here for this conversation, or are we going to have to repeat this for him?
I'll let you just summarize it. He is not here, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're doing some
Red.
defensive stuff
Yeah.
to get ready.
Good. What can I do to help you with that?
Where are you staying?
I need to figure that out.
Oh no, you're staying with us. I got another bed. You can have your
Oh.
room back. I'll take the bed in the living room. It's all good.
No, I think you deserve more privacy than me. It's fine. I can stay in the living room.
I will argue with you about it later, but you're still staying with us.
Sure. I would appreciate that. Thank you. At least until I can figure something out.
So the plan is to release this article, and hopefully the NCPD takes them out. If they don't, we deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we deal with Streamline. We've got to get him out of the way somehow.
Yeah, I think that in poking the bear, Streamline's going to come to the surface.
All my research on him has turned up absolutely next to nothing, so...
And that's why we have to provoke him into coming into the open.
Well, he'll use the Jackal's Lantern first, but yeah, once they're gone, I don't know if he'll go with another group or if he'll come himself. But that should give us some breathing time to maybe figure out what these chips are. Maybe that will give us a lead.
So these are basically zombie chips, yeah?
Yeah, they affect different parts of the brain.
What exact parts of the brain do you know offhand?
The temporal lobes. I'm gonna draw a picture of the brain and put those points down.
I, as a doctor, would like to look at this.
Do you have any science?
Of course. Let me check.
And which science is it?
Brain science.
While he's doing that, I'm going to say thank you to Velvet Sanity for the gifted subs.
Thank
If
you
you
so
got
much.
a gifted sub from Velvet Sanity, make sure you say thank you. Very kind of you.
I got 16 on my paint draw.
I don't even see science on the sheet. Oh,
It's
it's right
not.
there.
Oh,
It is. It's an entire category.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You choose a science.
It's not my specialty.
You don't know. You're like, that's a brain.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has parts.
I figured because I have some training in medical. that
I guess you could identify the different parts as the forgive me, doctors, or any medical specialists if I'm mispronouncing it. But the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, cerebellum, and I guess a little bit of the frontal lobe as well, which is not something I mentioned before, but definitely has stuff to do with that.
Okay. Yeah, this would be taking over like the whole mind. We've got memory, we've got motor skills, we've got speech, and like your id, your like drive to do things is all wrapped up in this thing. You would be a marionette if this was installed.
Yes.
That's more or less what they were.
But the thing is, because this chip doesn't broadcast, right? It's just one programmed chip. What is giving them the orders? Is it a person, do you think? Or do you think, like, how are they getting commands?
Well, I mean, the ones we had, they had like from when they showed up to when we got the chips out of them was what, 2-3 hours?
Hour, maybe 2.
Okay, there you go. Or maybe 2. Even when it went sideways for them, they didn't change what they were trying to do.
Well, yeah, so you wouldn't be able to give them a super complex order, but if you gave them an order like they need to achieve this task, that would be their only objective, even if it meant their own harm.
My
Yeah.
guess, given what Kanze has said about periods of blacking out, is that the chips get removed. Whatever they need them to do is programmed onto the chip directly, and then it's reinserted.
Okay, that's good to know because that means they can't pivot.
And just to confirm that, Hades, when you were doing your research, just to put this in here, you did not find any sort of like tracking or remote connection.
well, I was going to ask that actually.
There you go.
because it was brought up. I don't see any sort of remote access. So yes, I believe this is all
So
local.
yeah, we have the two options that it is coded with one directive and they do that until it is replaced. Or they could have different activation colors or phrases to change between one or two simple commands.
They would have different activation phrases to change between a couple different commands, depending on how much time they have prepared to program it.
So that's a good thing for us, kind of, because they won't have versatility. They can't pivot and change their plans.
Depends on how much time. I mean, we've already given them a week
Yeah.
to program
And-
something.
If they can only have basic commands, then I mean, you're looking at get this basically.
The things a sleepwalker could do.
It's a little,
Right?
I would say with enough time, it can be more complicated than that. When I saw Kaze at the bar on Jackal's Lantern the night I was taken, she was carrying her best friend's head on a platter, didn't give a shit, was able to serve drinks, talk to them, talk to me, normal conversation despite not knowing who the fuck I was, and went and got Dracul when I asked about having cybernetics done through their doctor.
That's actually not as complicated as you think.
It's more complicated than don't leave until you drug her.
That can be as simple as you don't see what is before you, though. I don't think
What?
she could disarm a nuke,
It's not
is what I'm saying.
I'm
You can-
saying that they have more versatility than I think you believe they can.
All right, I just wanted to take them off the table as a piece. That's all.
The only way
Oh.
you're taking them off the table is pieces if you can get those chips out of them. Or stop them. Fry them.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, just like with Kaze, you were saying, there are real people under the chip, yeah?
And fry the chip. Don't hurt the people.
Frying the chip will probably hurt the people.
More damage compared to being flatlined.
Could be a lobotomy for all we know. Removing the chip is somewhat safer.
Also takes more time. They had at least how many mannequins after me? 3, 4, 6?
6 at least.
I lost count.
And there was one
Yeah.
doing net running.
There was a mannequin net
There's-
running?
Yeah. What?
Well, we don't know that he was a mannequin. We never
Yeah.
saw the chip.
Right.
That's hugely different in terms of complexity.
There,
That would
there was a
escalate
net
things.
runner, an enemy, and not security. I saw him. He was right next to me. Shot him in the
Okay,
face.
Good girl.
Good job. Let's assume that one wasn't a mannequin. If there's 6 of them, there's
So
only
we've
6 of
got-
us, which on top of whoever they send, that's not.
The one thing is they did drag just random people in. Those two that you
They
let
got him
go.
set up within a few days.
yeah, they
Yeah, but
barely
that was a
did
very simple programmed command.
no
And they
I
had
agree.
that
It's
planned
just-
before they nabbed them.
I agree. It's just it means that they probably don't have a whole lot of them on hand. Like, yeah,
the-
they can make more pretty easy, but if they just nabbed people to go after you,
Both Kaze and I were taken because we had a drink and the drug hit us so fast we went unconscious. They run a club that's open super late at night. You don't think they can easily get 10 stragglers some evening?
no, I totally do. I'm just saying, like,
There's not a big backlog.
unless they have a reason, maybe they don't have that many of these people.
It would be something you would have to maintain.
Hey, Blank.
Let's say they get one per night.
Oh
Since
no,
they
they
failed.
can totally build up a bunch in the week
Yeah.
that we've been gone. I'm just, it doesn't matter.
What were you gonna ask, Hades?
Was there any sort of markings on the chip to say what company they were from?
Nope.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
My point
right.
is whether there's 5 or whether there's 20. That's a problem.
Right.
We need some way to deal with them if we're not going to flatline them.
Yeah, and I only see 3 solutions for that, so that's a problem. All right, now let's talk about the lieutenants, which are cooldown.
Mhm.
That leaves what? Nosferatu, the doctor,
Edward Voight,
yeah, and who else?
Elric James.
Elric's such a stupid name.
He looks like an idiot too.
It does.
All right, I assume they're all badasses, but maybe not as chrome as Deva was.
Elric's, if I recall correctly, thin, not a lot of muscle. Seems to be more brain than brawn. Does have antenna, does have cyberware.
No.
No?
David had the antenna. He does have
Oh.
cyberware, but he doesn't have that.
He doesn't have the antenna that's Deva.
Yep.
Was the rest of it right? Moxie
Yes.
would know. Okay, cool. Minus the antenna part. Voight, larger gentleman, was part of Militech. That's where he learned his medical training, which means he also has military training. Has cyberware. Dracul or Nosferatu has chrome cybernetic arms. Eyes. He's the virtue artist, so my guess would be probably one of the netrunners. Given the schedule that we found once upon a time, said they had 2. Always got some tech knowledge.
Can I say something really stupid real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of expect it from you at this point.
Right?
Really
All right,
what
that was
stops you.
actually my point, though, is I get a lot of really stupid Wraith plans, and I gotta tell you the one I just had, even though we are not doing it, it is not the plan. But you
I
talking
wanna
about
hear it.
Militech made me think about it, right? So we just pissed off Militech's arch rival, right?
In theory.
We get the transponder from the bullet and we put it inside the Jackal's lantern. Get Arasaka to do our dirty work.
That's not half bad, actually.
Yeah, except I think we dumped the transponder instead of just deactivating it. And
I don't know one way or the other. I'm saying it's a terrible plan and we shouldn't do it. But these are the kinds of stupid shit that goes through my head. So
It's actually
No.
not that stupid.
It's not a bad plan. I don't think it's feasible.
we'll keep it on the back
I mean-
burner.
I mean, if we dropped it behind, it's gone.
I think we
Colt
I
should be
would be the
behind.
one.
I
If
could
not,
ask Colt.
I'm sure
but-
the nomads got rid of it.
I don't think they have it.
No.
I would have kept it.
And if I was Arasaka, I would
That's
do
the dumb
research
idea that I expect from you.
and
Thank
watch
you.
video, and there is absolutely no video of that bullet anywhere in that area.
Yeah, but all that's doable.
You know how to change security footage now.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Did our round ever show up?
Oh yeah, I apologize. Yes, it's been here sitting on the table. Kuniko somehow got there, put the drinks off, and left before you guys even noticed.
It was very
Because-
nice of her.
I think when Moxie says fuck off, she does pick up her beer and she would toast it to Wraith before taking it.
Yeah, he
I
picks
think
up
you would
his
have a
green tea.
tequila.
Okay, cool. Then that's what she would drink and toast to Wraith. Just she's not serious about it.
Yeah, he picks up his green tea and clinks glasses.
Okay, everybody picks up their various drinks and clinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Levity aside, though. So step one is you write a badass article like the badass you are.
Mhm. Hope it
Yep.
goes well.
We be ready for the answer to it.
If it
Do-
doesn't go well,
Yeah.
that's when we're going to need a plan because they're not going to move. They're not going to wait much long after that, I don't think.
No.
So we should have a plan ready.
Do we want to bring them to
Probably.
where we live?
No,
Last time we had a gunfight here in the neighborhood.
I don't remember how it went.
Yeah.
I don't want it here. Oh, no. She has this thought and like, oh, we could quickly quiets it. But wherever we're going to have it, we need to make a spectacle that that's where we're going to be.
Yeah.
That's Wraith's job.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm good at that shit.
Make sure they know what you want to do this time.
I will be very clear, thank you. All right,
But
well,
it has
I'm,
to be clear that I'm going to be there as well.
yeah, no,
not
it's gonna be
just
like,
like-
hey, me and my girl Moxie kicking it over here, completely unarmed, without any armor on.
But smarter than that, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Better worded.
A charity event to help the victims of Jackal's Lantern concert.
That reminds me, I need to get a master of the vigil. I got this whole like discography thing I'm thinking about doing, but yeah, that's down the road.
I don't
Yeah.
know if we want to do a concert because that pulls in more innocent people, but
Yeah, let's not do that. No. Look, I'm gonna sit back and let you guys make the choices. You make better choices than me, and part of my growth is realizing that I make bad choices. So you let me know what I need to do, and I will do it.
Holy shit, that's this. Maybe this time really worked.
Okay,
it's just nice to
so
have you back.
I have some kind of idea,
Shoot.
little thing. But if we're worried about the mannequins or whatever, could we lay a false trail towards Moxie and hope and lure them away if we actually have to go in there?
What? How would
'Cause
we
if
do
we
the
could-
false trail?
Well, I mean, if we're using her as bait
Mm-hmm.
and Wraith posts whatever this is and it goes somewhere else, and then shortly after we show up, well, I don't know if you want to go after them. I'm just putting this out there. But if we show up at their place, then we have a chance of hitting them off guard without the mannequins being in danger.
Right. They send their foot soldiers to where they think we're gonna be. We show up at their house where they're all waiting for the good news.
Especially if we could hit the foot soldiers with sleep grenades or something along those lines.
EMP.
some sedative that could hold them there for a long time?
Big electromagnet.
I thought you said that was probably brain damage.
No. Probably. The EMP
it's-
wouldn't be though. It'd just shut it down. Frying the chip would probably damage them.
But if we could get some kind of, I know that it's really shaky, but if we could get some kind of like lead, kind of like whatever it is they got that took them to the bus station or the train station or whatever, you know what I mean? They came with 1 foot soldier, or with what? Okay, a half a dozen foot soldiers and 1 guy in charge, plus the snet runner, because they weren't sure. We think.
They weren't sure. They didn't know for certain if I would be there or not.
Right.
Right.
It's possible that the rest of them were waiting nearby the nook to storm the apartment if I wasn't there.
Oh, that's fair. But, you know, if we're really worried about the mannequins, it might help.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
What if, and I'm throwing this out there crazy, what if we go have a chat with Charles to get more information?
Who was
Do you know where he is?
the guy in red?
I'm saying try to find him.
What information are you hoping to get from him?
Well, first of all, we know he knows them. He's been there multiple times. He might know what's going on because he had mannequins going with him, which would have been weird. Saying it's a possibility. We could get more information from him. I'm not saying it's possible.
I'm asking what information you think he holds that we don't already have.
How many mannequins they have now? Might have seen what's going on. Who's running the operation now for sure? Who's in charge? Do they have new lieutenant type people there who are a little bit better off? What's going on there?
He would have some information that we could.
He might have some information. Tap into the security feed and also get that information.
Well, if we're tapping into shit, we just take over the computer they're using to program the mannequins and then just program them with our own shit.
You don't program them, Wraith. You let them go.
I'm just saying.
You let them go.
Yeah, but I mean, in the short term.
No.
I'm not
But
saying we control them.
What I'm saying is we don't have no current intel on their operation right now.
I think if you would like to try and find Charles, you're welcome to. I don't have the time to do it. I don't think he's going to give up the information easily.
Oh, I didn't mean for him to give it up easily.
So you're okay torturing someone?
I'm okay with making him do something.
I don't follow.
It's all about leverage.
What leverage do you have on Charles?
Nothing yet. I'm saying that's a suggestion.
You have to build the leverage first.
So you want to find this guy and then find leverage on him that you can use.
Possibly.
In addition to scavenging for net architecture, in addition to reinforcing plates, in addition to coming up with a new plan and a new location and building whatever we need to trap the mannequins. Just so I'm clear, this is the plan.
What I'm trying to find is another angle to go about this, because you're saying that if the article doesn't work, we need to have a contingency plan. With the contingency plan means we have to do other legwork to follow through with that, because going in guns a-blazing probably won't work.
I agree with that.
I agree. I wouldn't go there at all, even if you can lower the mannequins. I still wouldn't go and attack them
Because
on their home
they are
turf.
not going to leave. They're going to turtle. So unless we literally detonate a nuclear device there, I don't know if we have enough explosives to blow their place to hell.
Can I make GM? Is there any role I could make to determine if they would turtle or if there's enough pressure on them from Streamline and enough ego from what I've heard and seen that they would come after? Like if I
Like
was dangled as bait, that they would come
profiling?
after me.
Guess deduction.
I would like to add none of the luck that I have left, please.
How much luck do you have left?
None.
Whoa.
She added all of it that she had left.
22.
22? Okay. So you're just trying to determine what their reaction would be if on the failure of of your article?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for starters, you basically sign your death warrant at that point, right?
Yeah.
They're definitely going to try to kill you at some point. Whether that is immediate or a long game, Voight actually seems quite intelligent.
Mhm, yeah.
He is arrogant, but he's not dumb.
Mhm.
And the likelihood of them turtling for a bit and then coming later is pretty high.
But them coming themselves would be high?
Them coming themselves, I don't know. They've never really gone out before.
Okay.
Maybe some of them. Nosferatu definitely seems like the hotter head of the bunch,
Yeah.
but that's only one.
Could put surveillance in the lantern, see if they come and go. Track them to whether they stay there or if they have their own homes.
Right.
I mean, if you want to look for Charles, you can look for Charles. I'm not capable of torturing someone.
I am.
Excuse me?
I do it.
Since when?
Since I listened to Kaze the other night.
It's one step closer to becoming like them, Cammy. And he's not them. He contacts, he partakes, sure. You should not turn into them. Don't become like them.
Yeah,
Well,
I guess you're right. I don't know what I was thinking.
Moxie's gonna take Cammy's hand and just hold on to it under the table.
Cammy, you said that because you want to protect the people you love.
Of course.
And I would do anything to protect you guys. And you would do anything to protect us. That's why you said it. You didn't say it because you're an evil person. You said it out of a place of love, not a place of hate. And yeah, you were threatening to do something real fucked up to do it, but don't beat yourself up over loving people. It came
Okay.
down to that, though, and somebody had to cross that line. I would much rather it be me, and not because I'm trying to self-sacrifice here. Of the two of us, I think I'm more mentally capable of doing it right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. You're right. Thanks.
It's just love, girl.
Okay. So I think that in general, we'd like to avoid that, though. Right? So we got to scavenge. Is that a priority?
Yes.
Like, let's talk about the things and what needs to happen first.
We need that network, I think.
Okay.
Moxie, finish her article. Those who are
She's gonna
available
finish her
scavenge.
article. I'm going to work on reinforcing windows and doors for our apartments.
Do you want me to help with that or scavenging?
I mean, I got it. It's not very hard.
Probably good. I don't know which end of the
It's-
hammer to use.
Yeah, scavenging is one of those things where the more eyes, the better. Although you'll have to know what you're looking for.
We got it.
Okay.
That's step one, no matter what.
Okay. So, in terms of finding information on Charles, I mean, it's not the worst option, but I think that you've hit all your contacts on Streamline, right, Moxie? Like, to get information on him?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have contacts they could ask? Or, hacking?
I could ask around.
Quietly?
Nothing I do is quiet.
Subtly?
Nothing I do is subtle.
I will say, if you're asking about him, I don't think they would be surprised to figure that out. It just might
Okay.
bump up whatever plan they're brewing.
Yeah, if we want to provoke him, I could figure that out real quick. Let's not, though.
You could probably provoke Nosferatu rather easily.
So maybe that's where we should focus, figure out the best way to provoke Nosferatu and when, if we need it.
I think this was a good session. I think there's a lot of ideas. I do like your idea of planning the mannequins somewhere else. I worry about attacking the lantern because they have cameras, they have surveillance, they have turrets.
It doesn't have to be there, but if that's not there,
But-
then yeah, we have to find a place.
They have to be somewhere, yeah. So I think we take a couple of days, think on it, and see what we can come up with.
All right.
How close does it need to be?
Does
How
what need to be?
Closed as what?
I mean, like, if we're looking for a place, do you want it near us? Do you want it near them? Do you want it somewhere else entirely?
Not in the neighborhood.
Not in the neighborhood. Doesn't need to be near them. It should be somewhere that's feasible.
Okay.
Uni
They couldn't
district.
feasibly be at.
Okay. I need to check some things. I
Also,
might have something.
depending on how we trap them, someone may need to be there.
Yeah.
Which means
Let-
either we
let
pull
me
in
check a
an
thing.
extra person or someone doesn't go on strike team B.
We could always get Rex for that.
Agreed to help.
Where is Rex? I'm going to text him again.
Oh, did you text Rex about the katana?
No, I texted him about coming to the
here.
bar.
Oh,
Before he came to see us, yeah.
Yeah.
oh, my bad. I must have missed that entirely.
I
Or
thought
he's
he
just
was-
ignoring my calls.
No.
I thought he was making a point to text him personally to invite him.
I
see.
did.
He said he has replied at this point. And he says, "Hey, Chumbada, I'm doing some business. I'm sorry I won't be able to come, but it'll be good to see you maybe tonight."
Yeah, whatever you want, my friend.
What's up?
Nothing, just having some drinks and catching up for old time's sake.
I'm hella suspicious.
I get it. I understand. Smiley face.
Made it worse.
Moxie, you get a text. "Hey, is Wraith in town?
Yeah, he's sitting across from me.
Is he texting me?"
Yeah. I think. Wait, hang on. I was like, wait, I said that, and I'm like, she doesn't know. Wraith, are you texting Rex right now?
Yeah, because he's not here.
Yes, he's very upset that you're not here drinking with us.
Okay. You just get like a K back, and then Wraith, you get message again. All right, Chumba. We can meet up tonight. Sure.
Sure. Stay healthy. I hope your business you're doing goes well.
Thanks. Thanks.
Oh, I was waiting for another text.
Nope.
That's
Awkward
hilarious.
silence. Yeah.
No.
Just thanks once, and then like a few seconds later, thanks again.
Oh.
All right, so you guys finish your drinks and then break, and let's try to get through this downtime so we can get into some stuff next session.
Yep.
I guess. Sorry to do this, but after you guys go to your collective homes, Cammy comes to you, Moxie, and says, "Hey, I think I'm gonna be MIA for a week.
Do you want to take Jose with you? See if she'll go.
I kind of want to go alone, personally, but I understand
Do you want to?
if you want to. Sure.
Okay.
Where's that place you go?
Down in Pacifica?
Oh, that's ritzy.
No. It's a nice drive, too.
Sure, yeah.
Head out tomorrow?
Yeah.
She'll flick Cammy the deets for making an appointment.
This is not the same place Wraith went, right?
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Mine's for drug and
Because
alcohol
it's
counseling.
his is in the Glen.
Yeah.
Brace therapy place was the Glen?
Yeah.
Nice. No, hers is like in Pacifica and somewhere near the playground, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you went to Single Star at some point.
She
For
did
her cram addiction.
That's
when
right.
she was addicted to Adderall.
Oh yeah.
To Adderall. Yeah. Okay.
When she
so
almost killed herself.
Mhm.
Unintentionally, because she didn't understand how side effects worked.
your rent is $12.50, right? I think I forgot to subtract her. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hydrate.
Oh, thank you very much for the hydrate.
Thank you.
Got the hiccups. Oh yeah, and for the 2 I missed earlier.
Don't drown.
There you go. I think that's 1,000 for
Yes.
this particular type of therapy, or maybe it's 5.
It depends. If you're going severe humanity loss, it's 1,000. If it's standard humanity loss, it's 500. Both still take
Yeah,
a week.
it really depends on how far she's
2d6 versus 4d6.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I play Moxie 11. Let me tell you about humanity loss. Why therapy is important. Don't let yourself get as low as I did, just in case you're captured by XBD artists who chip you.
It's okay to not be okay.
Contact a
Ooh.
therapist, possibly across the city from you.
So yeah, she'll go for the 1,000.
Speaking of humanity loss, I should really have done that too. Oh well.
Well, we have a week.
Okay. Yeah, we do have a week, and I'm settling that now. I'm gonna do Cammy's therapy.
Does that mean she's not going scavenging?
Correct. Holy shit! I rolled 3 6s.
Whoa,
Nice.
Nice. Draw a tarot card.
You know what? That makes sense for Cammy though. She's got a lot of human empathy.
That's 21 points back.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
But
That's
she
super
had
helpful.
far less than that to lose or to gain back, but getting quite low. Can't be right. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. Cool. Let's start. I know what Moxie's doing, so Wraith, what are you doing? Are you gonna
I'm
do therapy?
Scavenging. No, I should do therapy, but I am gonna scavenge.
Okay. Checkers?
I am reinforcing doors and windows in our apartments.
So go ahead and make a basic tech check. You can use your field expertise.
Okay.
You have the parts for that, right?
I mean, I might have to buy them. Let me
Okay.
look real quick. Oh, let me count, and
Sure.
then I will look.
Yeah, that's fine.
Things are done in
Okay.
steps.
Yes,
I
I feel that.
Do not interrupt steps.
I get a 20.
20
nice.
is more than enough to successfully do it within the week.
Okay. I have $500 in parts.
Actually, to be honest, this would be upgrade. Would that change the roll?
Okay. That would be 19.
Okay. Still fine.
Okay.
But what'd you say you had for parts?
I have $500 or EB in parts.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and how many doors are you trying to reinforce, and which doors?
The 2 front doors would be first,
Okay.
and then it would be the windows.
Okay.
I don't know how many windows there are in each
Um,
apartment.
I think there's 2 windows in each apartment.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
At least
Okay.
living room doors. Or windows.
Yeah.
Are there
Nice.
bedroom windows too?
I think we have
Yeah, I
one
could
window
be
in our
picturing
living
it
room
wrong.
and one in one of our bedrooms.
One of the
One's on the
bedrooms, yeah,
inside.
because it's like
Yeah.
living room and then one bedroom,
Okay.
Yes.
and then a bedroom that's like, on the hall side.
Yeah.
Your guys's has 3, yours has 2.
I'm a 2.
Yes.
No,
Thank you.
oh, I think
Yeah.
you had
The
3.
reason the reason you guys have 3 is cuz both of your bedrooms face the street.
Okay.
You guys
Cammy's
got an
does
L
not.
shape. Yeah.
Okay, well, it would be the front doors first, and then the windows, and then so there's 5 windows, and then I would want to do the bedroom doors too.
Oh, okay. So that's 4 there, 6 plus the 5. 6. So altogether, that would be 850 eddies.
Would that in parts?
In parts.
Okay, so it would be. I'll just keep my 500 and minus it out of my money.
Okay.
850, you said?
Yep.
Moxie would remind you when you start working that if you need money for the group funds for this, we had discussed using those.
Yeah.
So if you want the 850 to come out of the group funds.
I'm sort of got a running total right now. Because I also bought the cameras.
Yeah.
So,
Then she'd kindly remind you that not to go over their total, and it should just clear it with them first.
$10,000
what is the
later.
total of the group funds? Do we have any idea?
I do.
Asked one of y'all to keep track of it.
Cammy did.
2,700.
Okay.
And Moxie
So
would rather not use all of that, especially if we get injured on this.
I will put
Run
more
against
funds in
jackals.
if necessary.
So if you could
Okay,
only go up to $2,000, that would be nice.
So, Checkers would ask for 1,000
Given
for this.
For this, but that clears the debt for the cameras? Or is that with labor?
Checkers, okay. Checkers being who she is, she asks for 1,000. She spends a little bit of her own money
Right.
towards it, but I did subtract the camera from the money or camera's money already. So,
Okay. I think Moxie is giving you the 1,000 then?
Yeah.
So you can add that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it's gonna take me a minute to figure out the math.
Okay.
remove it all from yours and then just add 1,000 back to yours.
So I think
Yeah.
that is going to take you the week to complete that project.
Okay.
Deeps, are you
Yes.
doing the salvaging then?
I guess I am.
Okay.
I'm coming with
With
you.
Wraith, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's do some salvaging of Night City, which I think is in the interface too.
I was going to say, I have just the supplement on its
I
own.
just have the supplement open right now.
Maybe it's in interface 1. Okay, it's in the supplement.
I suggest that we go up near NorCal to scavenge.
That doesn't have a good scavenging place. The places you can scavenge. Actually,
Combat zone.
there are some scrapyards you could do up in NorCal or North Watson.
Well,
that
we
where
could
you
also
wanna go?
around the perimeters, right?
Yeah. So what are you're obviously picking something
Well, we're gonna look for
specific category.
Yeah, so I believe it's category 6.
Yep. Okay. So go ahead and make the roll. I will give you a +1 for
My
Um,
assistance.
for his help.
I will dump my luck into this too.
Okay.
Nice.
So that is +1. It's a basic tech roll.
Yep.
So that's a 13 +1, 14 +4 is 18 to start.
before you roll.
Oh, apologies. This is actually going to be electronics because that's what you're looking, or well,
Oh,
or cybertech.
Or electronics. I will go with electronics. That's a 14 to start, so that's 15 plus luck is 19.
Okay,
Plus that roll.
Yep.
Yeah.
nice.
A 9, baby.
Woo!
Nice.
28.
Yep.
Okay. And what is it that you're looking for?
Pieces to a portable.
Net architecture.
Yep.
So what you scored here for a specific category is enough to get you 100 eddies worth of stuff. Unfortunately, you're going in the perimeters. Give me a second, sorry.
No, it's fine.
While we're out searching for the pieces, you know, that nail salon we hit, their architecture was terrible. We just break in the back door and steal theirs, we'd be doing them a favor.
Dude, yes. We found nothing, practically.
I found this really cool rock
That's true.
shaped like organ.
Is the 28 with or without the help?
I think that's with, because I started with an 18, and then plus 1 would be 19. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Plus the die roll of 9.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's only 100 eddies, but you're so close to the next mark that I'll give you 400. That's just like one shy. So you find 400 eddies worth of objects. You can choose them from anything in that category.
Okay.
They're all in broken state. The net architecture is not something you find, but you can find the programs you would need
That's what I was
for
ju-
the
I
net
would-
architecture.
It's exactly what I was thinking, by the way. I was like, oh, that'll be a cache of chips.
Yeah, exactly. You find like some cache of chips in an old warehouse somewhere in the perimeter zone. You do find a net architecture, but it is damaged so far beyond repair that it's not worth taking. But
Found a
part of the hard drive is salvageable for the different programs.
Found a box of America Online discs. Is this helpful?
We can make a rocket launcher and
All
fire
right.
them at people.
I'm going to
So-
take it with me.
I'll let you go ahead and look through the list of programs or whatever you want. Just come back to me with that afterwards. You can, message it to me later and we'll talk about it next session.
Yeah, I'll
But-
just write down 400 worth
Sure.
of programs.
or cybertech. That's the category.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Chinzia, good to see you. Thank you. And thanks for the resub. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
9-month streak. Hell yeah.
Woohoo!
Woo woo.
Twitch
Nice. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So the next step we're caught up. The next
It's
step
me.
is the article.
baby. Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of discuss what you got here.
Yeah. I was gonna break it down. Let's go.
Give me a second here.
So for those of you who don't know how the media roll works, by the way, Blink, if you're looking for it, it's page 151.
I actually opened right to it, but thank you.
Nice.
Thank
What's
you
your
for gifting the gift.
credibility rank?
It's 5, so I have a
Okay,
believability
4
score
of 10. 4,
Yeah.
4 of 10 base chance. That's 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4.
Does the 4
Then
count?
it's 4
But I
and
had to
10.
roll under my 4. Like I had to roll
No,
under believability.
it's 4 and 10. That's a 40% chance. So
Okay.
numbers
Better than
1,
I
2,
thought.
3, 4.
Okay.
Then you have a +1 for the well-written article,
Yes.
a +1 for the well-shot article. Then you have a +1 for having at least one piece of verifiable evidence. Then you get an additional +2 for having 2 pieces of verifiable evidence, starting all of your end at a +9. Don't roll yet. However, some problems are going to arise here. You've already written an article about this pretty much exact same thing. You're taking a shot at the exact same company. Not a lot of time has passed. I am going to deduct 3 points from that. So that is going to go back down to 6. However, again, you also are publishing under a credible... Oh, fuck. I didn't open this and I should have. You're also publishing under a credible news source called The Gorilla. The Gorilla is run by Fenna Childs, also known as fucking cunt, because she is very brusque and blunt. But her news page has gained clout for its basically just really really aggressive articles that is published in the past. So I am going to give you a +1 for publishing under the Gorilla.
Okay. So it brings it back to 7.
Brings it back to 7. So you have a 7 in 10 chance to succeed at this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All succeed.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty good. And that is all I have to say, and you may now roll.
Can she get a +4 for my charismatic impact?
No.
You did mention though earlier, just because I'm really gonna try to bolster this if I can. You can say no, obviously it's fine. But Swag is a professional who did transfer those files or 2 of those BDs over. Does that help at all?
No.
Okay. 7, huh? It went from 9 to 7.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
I was trying to help you, buddy.
I appreciate that. I freaked out because it's a 4, and then I realized a 4 is really good.
It's good!
Yay! It's good.
Yeah, low is good.
Oh. Oh.
You release the article on the Jackal's Lantern with your shocking and frankly quite disgusting expose on the Jackal's Lantern, what they're doing, what they're all about. And there is this silence amongst your viewers, or your reader, I guess viewers, for a long period of time. And it makes you think, oh, fuck, I fucked up again. However, it's only because people were writing these long fucking posts about how fucked up, how disgusting this is. NCPD needs to do something about this. Why hasn't anything been done in the past? What the fuck are they doing down there in the Glen? And this causes the NCPD, Simon Buckle in particular, is forced to act. The action from the NCPD comes rather quickly. Not nearly as quick as it was in the Sony Nomura place, and you being Moxie, knowing kind of the greater scope of the whole thing. You know, there's probably some sort of internal dialogue, freaking out, and that kind of thing. But it is fairly swift, at least in terms of NCPD, and we all know how swift they can be. They quite quickly hit the Jackal's lantern, bust the ring downstairs. Arrests are made. Not only the mooks and grunts of the organization, maybe tens of names. It's a smaller organization than you might think, but there's a lot of those guys busted. Voight is taken down. Elric is taken down. There are some other names that you don't quite know, that you not really heard before ever. They are also taken down. They are described as ringleaders. Whether or not that's true, you don't know at this point, but either way, you've taken them down. The only name you don't see on the list is Nosferatu.
Do I see Charles anywhere on the list? I realize it's not a lot to go off of.
I guess you don't see
or
his
a video
name.
Of anything of him being.
I'm trying to
arrested?
remember your video. No, they didn't really arrest any viewers at the thing. It was mostly just people in charge. But
Might have been there. It was worth the shot to look.
he was in the video, but he wasn't.
No, I mean at the lantern when the raid.
Oh, when the raid happened. Whether he was or not, you don't know, but he wasn't arrested either way. So he's definitely still at large. I'm trying to think of any other names that are here. Maybe a few days later, Simon Buckle himself is arrested for his inaction. And not only that, but for the evidence that they have exposing him during the raid. So his name's in the computer system. There's business deals and that kind of thing there. Stuff you didn't find when you looked before. It must have been a different computer.
I don't know if she looked up Simon Buckle at the time, to be honest.
That's true as well. But you were looking for like business records.
I was, yeah.
But anyway, so he is also arrested. Not only him, but some of his police captains are also arrested. There's kind of like this avalanching chain that kind of takes out some of these key players within the NCPD out, and they're all put in prison. Well, they're sent to prison awaiting trial.
I don't get any angry texts from Mendez.
I'll conclude on this. You do get a text from Mendez. He says, "Thank you." And that is where we're going to end the night. So, congrats, everybody.
Great job, Moxie.
Very helpful.
Awesome.
So tense, guys.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like it comes down to one roll. You do all that, one roll.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. But the media's power is like, or spec
powerful.
rollability. It's like the best in the game, I think. But
It's
yeah,
insane.
it is. And
Thank you, Blank, for giving me extra things so that I can bump up that believability.
yeah, no problem. I mean, you still would have hit it. It would have been a 5.
Still.
Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you,
Yeah.
viewers.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
And
thank you, viewers.
Cast, for cheering me on because holy shit, that was terrifying. So I appreciate all your luck.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you all for showing
Good
up.
night.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Take care.